All right, motherfuckers. You ready to ball shit? Here we go.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
There he is. Got it.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Well, hello. You bullshit people out there. Chris Osborne, I'm going to give you the shout out first. I'm sorry, Shane. Best intro song out there. You're getting it in. See, Shane said first. Chris Osborne said magic. All right, Shane, what's up first in the house? I'm going to go through you guys in a minute. I'm going to let it stack up. 15 of you in here so far. Let's keep it going. Look, and in the spirits of everything, this dude tonight's so huge nowadays. We might as well play the other song too.
Welcome to Bullshit After Dark with your host, Sean Bradley.
Oh, yeah, because we are after dark here in Louisiana. It's still light out there in California, where our wonderful, illustrious guest is. And here you guys are all tonight. So let me run through the laundry of the evening to where we can move on to the end. All right. Reptiles to you. You know the regular junket that I'm going to go through with these guys. I love them. They're the best. They're the absolute best. You know how I know that? Because I don't understand how anyone could be better. Like, really. Like, if I was in Europe and a guy came to my house and picked up my snake and put it into a little temperature-controlled section of a van that was built to move snakes from one country to another country, I may have better service, but I still doubt it because I'm sorry, they're European. I don't know. I just feel you guys, like, I don't know. Don't give them that much of a fuck about other people's stuff. But Reptiles to You loves giving a fuck about other people's stuff. Go check out reptilestoyou.com and sign up. And on checkout, type in BALL in caps and 0922 and receive 20% off the already fairly lower price of shipping. So I think you'll really love the experience you have, especially if FedEx fucks you and you have to deal with Debbie Price and her team at Reptiles to You. So check them out. MorphMarket.com. You know them. I blast them on here every week. This week, we have figured out the problem for phones. So if your phone on Morph Market has been a slow turd that backs up with messages and stuff when you're messaging, like mine has been for, like, let's say the last fucking 8 months, and we tried to figure it out and got frustrated with it and moved on. When the app came out, what was that, last week that the app came out? I can tell you when the app came out was when Antoine got his new rating for his response time, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. This fucking response time makes my ass hurt, honestly. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, you guys out there in ball python land, if you have anything for sale that this guy has for sale, you're fucking not selling it before him. You're just not doing it. So with the new Morph Market app, I was so excited, and I even wrote John prematurely and said, John, you wouldn't believe it. I love the new app, and it doesn't back up on my Droid like the texting through Google Chrome does. And you know what? Fucker, it started doing it. It started doing it right like 5 minutes after I sent him a message. And so I was like, look, bro, I'm not going to lie. It's frustrating. It's doing it again. He had his tech guy recreate the problem, and today it has been a dream. So if you haven't been using Morph Market's messaging as much because you've been having a hindrance on your phone, I don't believe iPhones have had this problem at all, and most Droids apparently haven't either. But I'm on an S20, and it did have that problem. So you guys, rest assured that your texting and stuff through Morph Market will go better, and that they're updating the messenger system to be more like a messenger on Facebook with a back and forth sort of thing. So definitely check out Morph Market. The improvements are always coming on strong, and I absolutely love them. C-SERPENTS, the same plain old fucking picture on the front of the thing. We got to get them to change this website, huh? We got to get them updated, put some other pictures on here. If anything, just for me. right? I'll accept your cookies. If anything, just for me, just to go surfing through it with you guys and show you guys that this is my favorite rack company that there is. So go check out his show schedule and get your pre-orders in. Since the show like mad season's over with, you guys can probably catch up with C-SERPENTS anytime. Exotics by Nature, that's me, exoticsbynature.com. The new website is up. I've got some isopods listed on there for sale and some products, but the shipping situation still not quite figured out. The rest of my stuff would be on this page on Morph Market at stores/exotics by nature. Check us out. There are some gargantuanly overpriced ball pythons right here. Don't pay attention to those. Pay attention to the 187 amazing corn snakes and other species that we work with. I think you'll really find some cool stuff. Ooh, we got lychees up now too. Look at that, man. We got Leachianus geckos up for sale. So yeah, some really nice male, extra male lychees that we had sitting in a rack. So it looks awesome. USARK, usark.org. Go join it. If you're not joining it, then you kind of fucking suck. I've got a sign challenge that I'm going to do because I cannot seem to paint. I don't have enough time in my day. I don't have enough helpers in my life to paint these USARK signs fast enough. So if you are a content creator and you're watching this and you're interested in one of my awesome, like this kind of USARK proud supporter signs for your broadcast, I will be doing a painting challenge where we're going to be sending out these amazing signs in kits where you paint your own and glue it together yourself. It's going to be a tutorial more or less by all of us. We're going to have a video of me and like Shane Kelly from Small Town Exotics, who I'm about to get to, and a few other sponsors assembling the signs. So if you're into this idea and you're down to make a video of it, PM me, DM me, IM me, whatever you need to M me, and please give me your information so I can get it to you, because I think that is going to be fucking amazing when we can all like put our own spin. Like, oh, I don't like that light blue. I want it a little darker, and that red's a little too dark for my snake room. I kind of want it. Yeah, fuck you. You guys do whatever color you want. Herp Shop's going to do theirs in purple and green. Bravo ZULU. Thank you very much for sponsoring this here podcast. Infinite Possible Pythons. Thank you very much. John Woodruff, same. Thank you. And dude, look, even got snake croissant things. And yeah, this motherfucker here, he never stops trying to promote his brand. Reptile Collective, this weird ass paradox that Steve Beamer hatched out. Way to go, Steve. Can't wait to watch it grow too. I'm with you. I think it's going to be very cool. He's calling it a flying saucer. I don't know what's up with that. Savages. The Savages are probably in the house, and I'm going to get to them shortly. Shane from Small Town. Dude, this fucking sign is going to fucking kill you guys. You guys are going to absolutely shit when you see what this sign looks like when I sent it out to Shane next week. Got the router back up and running this week, so we were able to get back to it. Strange, Joshua Strange, thank you very much for supporting the podcast and sharing all of these great things on Instagram. Jim Lavallee, Ectothermic Dungeon. We are working out at sponsorship for Jim. We were kind of waiting for a main headline sponsorship, but the way I'm going to do them now is going to be a little bit different. So, yeah, we're going to welcome Jim into the fold here shortly. And now I'm going to welcome the man of the fucking time, man of the hour, Mr. Antoine Hood in the house. What's up, man?
What's happening, brother? What you doing?
Fucking
bullshit, man. After fucking like, I don't know, 15 years of being around you. Thank you. And look, now that everybody's in this chat, we're going to greet them together because most of these people are here for you. They're not here for me. Jane, what's up? Small Town, Quirky. What's going on? You're on here with me and the big man. Cuddle Time. Heathen Hatchery. These were the guys.
Brian?
Yeah, Brian's in the house. Phil Snyder. Will's been sharing stuff like crazy. Northeast Morse, Gillian, Chris Osborne. Still love that post, bro. That's the best one so far. Sorry. Max, Interstellar Reptiles, Private Sector, 4S, Kevin, Bosa, Aaron. There you go. You got everybody. Look, I don't know, man. If I see more of you on Instagram or more of Aaron Barbosa. Oh, dude. I see Barbosa's like, oh man, I used to think of the pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean with Barbosa. Now I think of this fucking guy every time Every time I see the name Barbosa. Miggy's Morphs, what's going on? Thank you for saying smash those likes and smash that subscribe button and all that type of stuff. Savages is private sector already shouted out to you. PCF Funny Royals, Lucas London, Brian Carter. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. I need to invite you on more often. 37 people in here. Half of these people I don't even know. Sick with tit. Really? Sick with it? I don't even know how to say that. Right? Beast Morphs. Sick with it. I got it. Canadian in the house. Look at this, man. So I reach out to Michael Graham this morning and I say, Michael, I'm about to make bullshit rolling trays. Would you like one? And he's like, bro, I think that's a great idea. So coming to Blackheart Exotics is going to be a custom bullshit Blackheart Exotics leather rolling tray. I got them right in the other room. I'm not even going to spoil it. I'm going to wait until I burn it, and then I'm going to show you guys. It's going to be so awesome. Mac O, Jamie, dude, Jesus, Living Oddities, Old Devil, Constriction. All right, I'm done. Oh, come on. Everybody in the end's going to be like, you can't leave me off. Get these balls. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Hardy's pythons. Come on. Who am I missing? Nobody. I'm scrolling. Creme de la Clutch, the most fucking over marketing shipper in the industry, shipping you a custom Crown Royal bag with every ball python in it. You know, fucking. You saw that? You saw that bag, dude? With the tassels and shit. It looks like the pocket of a pool table from a JCPenney catalog from the 90s. It's fucking amazing looking. And it's absolutely stunning. So I'm done shouting out to all these motherfuckers. Love that you all are here. Thank you for coming in. And now, here you are. Mr. California for 12 years, you said?
Yep, 12 years in Cali now, man. Originally from New Jersey. Came out here for the government, doing contractor stuff for the Marine Corps and the Navy. And I ended up getting stuck in this damn desert, man. So I had to figure out how to keep myself from just coming home from work and beating off all day. So I started breeding ball pythons and teaching martial arts.
You'll shoot your eye out. You'll put your eye out doing shit like that, man. You can't be doing shit like that.
They're already getting like real squinty and shit. I'm like Gilbert Gottfried, but fucking darker. God rest his soul, my boy Gilbert.
That's all right, man. It's all right. Somewhere out there he's loving my Friday After Dark.
After Dark.
This had him in mind.
With your host.
Whenever I said I want this to sound like it's on USA After Dark with Gilbert Gottfried up all night. That's what I want this to sound like. Something that would make Gilbert shut the fuck up. And that would make Gilbert shut the fuck up. Yes, indeed. New Jersey, what exit? Laugh out loud, he says. What's your exit number, right? What exit?
7A, baby. 7A.
Exit 7A. Wow, man. What is it like to come from a place where you're defined by an exit, and now you're defined by the word "the" in front of every interstate, right? The 10, the 5, the whatever. I've been through it all since my kids, other part of the family's from there. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I forgot one more shout out. Shout out to Sal Gomez for sending me the first fucking t-shirt, and it just so happens to be green. There it is. Dude, Gomez Python. That fucking cool ass, cloaked ass fucking pattern in there. Look, it actually moves with the background. It's pretty sick. Yeah. No matter which way I move, though, you cannot see nipples in this shirt, no matter how I do it. So you will not be asking any pretty females to wear a Gomez Python shirt on a green screen podcast and get anywhere. So yeah, thank you very much for Sal Gomez for sending me and my kiddo a shirt. I really appreciate it. This guy right here was supposed to send me a shirt for this episode. I'm supposed to be wearing a High Desert shirt right now, but that's okay. His guy fucked him, he says.
Your boy was slacking, so...
it's fine, bro. You were slacking. I'm the one with the podcast with no t-shirt. What the fuck? I'm like the only one. I don't even have... I got stickers, but they're from like 5 years ago.
Holy shit.
So what's real, man? Like, tell me what's up. Like, so... when was that first ball python you said? 2005?
Yeah, 05, man. It was my last year in the Marine Corps, and... I didn't even know what a ball python was, man. I'll be honest with you. I messed with boas back then and really wasn't a python guy, but I got rid of them because I figured out I sucked at breeding boas. I never got that fucking litter. I just couldn't get right, man. I'll get just, the little infertile, I don't think they call them slugs.
Oh, yeah, slugs. Yeah, you get slugs. We call them pills in the boa world, but yeah, you get pills. That's how it works.
It's so bad, man. So one of my Marines was he had like an inspection, like a junk on a bunk they call it, where they check like all your gear and all your uniforms like before deployment, you know. But you couldn't have pythons in the barracks. So he calls me, goes, "Hey Sergeant, can you watch my snake for me?" And I was like, "Oh, this is a big joke. Ha, yeah, I'll watch it." You know, thinking he's bullshit. And he's like, "No, this is legit. It's a ball python." He brings it to my house, bro, and he never asked for it back. He got out the Marine Corps, never talked to him again. And I just had this animal that was stuck with me for a long time.
Okay.
So, just raised it up for a couple of years. And then I just went online one day and I just was like, you know what, let me see if I can just buy some more. So I looked online and saw a pinstripe hide. And then I called, Brian, whatever, because it was his page. And I was like, how much is this thing, man? He's like, oh, you can have this male for $12.5. And I was like, for who? So I just got this shit for free and just saw one at the fucking pet store for $89. But this shit that got this bleach stained animal right here is fucking $12,000. And then I was just like, it's like, it's money in this shit. He's like, well, yeah, blah blah blah. And I kind of found YouTube and all that shit and looked all his stuff up. So I told him, I was like, look, man, I can't buy this thing, but I will make my own. So slowly but surely, I learned about how genetics work and started trying to make my own like morphs and my own pinstripe hide, and that's just how it started, man. And I'm one of those people that when I get involved with something, I fucking obsess.
I see that. So at that point, when you think about the racks that are sitting behind you, if I would have gone back to Antoine that day and been like, "Hey, bro, I'm going to just sell you one cage for $3,000," you'd been like, "What the fuck? No, nah,
you got that
I'm
mind.
good. See, I got some wood and some time and some buddies at work that have an extra saw, and yeah, we got this. Yeah, we got this.
Man.
Like, yeah, right."
Like, it literally just started. It stemmed from me having all these things. Started from me just wanting to make a pinstripe hide. So I fucking trying to find hep hides. Kind of bought a whole bunch of like fake hep hides over the years, and I bought a pinstripe early on from Adam out of Florida. The guy that has the zebra stuff now. I bought a pinstripe male from him. I think it was like back then. I think it was like $900 or something like that too. And again.
Yeah,
and then
I was
like
selling pin. Well, the year you came into with 05, I was selling pins for like around 15.
Yeah,
probably
so
15 grand. No, maybe probably 15 grand, 10 to 15 grand at that time.
So
By time it's settled,
Yeah, so 07 time frame, 06, 07, I think I had one like close to $900, whatever. Like that thing was an asshole, man. Didn't fucking eat. Fucking, I had one of those like old Rhino rack systems or whatever that I found on Craigslist, and I had this hatchling in this fucking 41 quart fucking. Trying to wonder why.
Yeah, it was Adam. It would have been Adam Chelsea. Yeah, it would have been Adam Chesla or whatever. Chesla.
Yeah.
Not Chelsea, but Chesla. It's spelled weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely that.
Yeah, it would have been Adam Chesla. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I got that thing, man, and I kept calling him. I was like, man, it finally ate. It was regurgitating and shit too. And he kind of walked me through like my temperatures and shit like that too. And after that, I started like messaging him and asking him about the right husbandry for these things. And ballpythons.net back then was really, really popping.
Oh yeah, like, BP.net was the place, man. That was where Tim Bailey really took a big rise. Was BP.
So BP.net and the Bush League forums and Fauna Classifieds. I still do. My account on Fauna Classified still works. Like it still.
I bet mine still does. It'd be crazy to look at that and be like, "You've been a member since 1999 or some shit,"
It was the fucking Wild West though, man. On like on those sites, man. Like I made a post. I was like, hey man, I'm in Eastern North Carolina right now. I just got the military and I'm getting interested in these ball pythons. Is there anybody in the area that I can like ask questions to and like have like a mentor? And they fucking ripped my ass apart. It was like, then you shouldn't have, if you don't know anything about ball pythons, then you shouldn't have them yet, and blah, 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 blah. And Antoine, oh, blah, blah. You're probably a black dude. Go back to breeding pit bulls, Jamal, and blah, blah, blah.
Dude, like, that's great. And you know what's funny is like when you made that statement to me. You made that statement to me earlier in the pre-show where you said that busting into this thing back and then was really difficult. Like you made it really difficult. But before we go down that road, let me just get Quirky's question here answered. Did you retire from the Marines? Did you just bow out?
No, I did my 5 years, and then but I still work on the same aircraft I did then. So it's been like 22 years now. So
okay.
I moved out. I moved out here, and I'm still working on the same aircraft, the Harrier. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm an electrician on that thing. So
Gotcha.
Getting close.
Yeah, yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there, but
Almost done.
you're almost there. Yeah, yeah. So he's still doing it, still doing the run. So I mean, like when we talk about that, how hard it was to bust in. Did you feel a racial reason for that, or did you feel that people just didn't want to help anyone?
I think it was both. I think because I saw a lot of other people get treated the same way. So
I mean, I got to be honest. If a black guy came at me at those times, it was Will. I would have taught you every fucking thing that I knew, and been like, bro, please come do this, and please come be welcome in this environment where we are very and it is very Caucasian, like it is. Like I hate to mention that, but like, do you remember Marvin Folks? You ever met Marvin? Marvin's black as well, and Marvin ran with Pete Call for years and years and years, and Marvin did Asian rat snakes and all kind of extremely rare and hard to keep stuff, and Pete would give him nothing but shit about, and they would do nothing but white guy, black guy versus each other, jokes and shit, and like, if it was at the wrong show, dude, I'm telling you, they would fuck with people. Like, people would get really mad. People would be like, you cannot speak to him that way, to Pete. And Pete would be like, oh, yeah, motherfucker. Oh, and it would be like, dude, they're best friends. Please don't understand. Like, nobody, it's not like that. But you really, from the outside looking in, you could almost think that that could be a thing. So, yeah, I was always curious about that.
Yeah, black people didn't make it any better, though, because if you got a snake or two or some reptiles or amphibians, the first thing go, oh, that's white people shit. You know, that's like the first thing you hear.
Bro, look, hey, I'm in the South, okay?
Okay, like, if you ever see me post a snake on my personal Facebook, someone will chime in, that's white people shit. At least and now I just delete them now and don't want to deal with it too, but every time.
So one of my oldest customers and friends is from Central Mississippi. Black dude, drives a dump truck, for the parish or for the county where he lives and everything. He's always had snakes. Okay. I mean, and me and him go way back. I mean, we go back to before I owned Exotics by Nature, Antoine. This is before, when I worked in a pet store when I was a teenager. I met him. Okay. And the funniest thing is, for years, his avatar on Facebook was him. He's short and he's stout as fuck. He's a fat little dude. He's short and he's small, but he's mean looking. He's a mean looking motherfucker. And he's got his pit bull with his spike collar, and it's on a fucking chain. I mean, a fucking chain, right? And he's got this boa constrictor wrapped around his neck. But wait a minute. The t-shirt he's wearing is the eco shirt that had the corn snake morphs all over it. So he looks like, is he straight? Is he gay? Is he bad? Is he good? Is he a thug? What the fuck is going on in this picture? And I told him, I was like, you realize you are an absolute conundrum to everyone in the hobby with that fucking photo, because you got the dog and you got the snake, but you got the pansy ass shirt that says that you're actually a real hobbyist because you can't even buy them online. You need to go to a show and buy that, and it was just really funny. And always, Anthony's always was never really took seriously that way. He even showed up at a reptile show once. Like I said, he was a dump truck driver, and the headsets they wear with the big mouthpiece. He was working behind my table, and a customer said, well, who can I ask for a bag to bag this up? Because I was on the front side of the table, and I pointed to him because he had walked up behind my table to say hi to us, but I was in the front. I pointed to him and I was like, you see Black Brittany over there? Because he looked like Britney Spears. I said, you see Black Brittany over there? I said, go get Black Brittany over there. Tell him that I said that Black Brittany would help you out. And he was so we used to have so much fun with him and that shit. But really, dude, it was something. So, I mean, I get this question. We're going to get this shit out of the way. Do you think you'd get more sales if you were Caucasian? I don't think so. I think this motherfucker could be Pablo Escobar bred to a Russian invading the Ukraine, and with his sense of humor and his whole demeanor, I think he'd still be a badass. But what do you say?
Yeah, I think at this point, at this day and age, with the way the industry is right now, I don't think it matters.
Not
So,
at
'cause
all.
like,
I think
I
it's
say
great.
I'm sold out. I'm sold out now. I just
Yeah, I saw
I don't have
I saw seven,
Yeah.
so what, 12 ads on Morph Market with a 2-minute response time. Yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at that real quick.
I think half of those are fucking sold. I don't even. I just didn't see.
You just
I
haven't
just
marked
didn't
them
mark.
sold yet.
I,
All right,
I just didn't mark them sold yet. Yeah, just
gotcha.
like
But look at this. Usually responds in 2 minutes. Shit, this is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking gross, bro. This really
I
is.
live with my phone, bro. It's fucking.
I feel that.
It's around me
feel that. You know,
24/7.
it's not surprising me when you popped up on my Snapchat the other day, right? Boom! Your friend Antoine Hood has joined Snapchat. I'm like, oh, there he goes. There goes the neighborhood.
I get 2 a.m. messages about the most craziest shit. Like, and it's not even just not people from my Patreon, but just people just that follow me on Instagram. 2 a.m. messages like, "Hey man, my female, she's doing this, she's doing that. What does that mean? She yawned. Is she gonna die?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, you could have waited until like the afternoon."
I was like, it's 2 a.m. I'm like, bro, it's 2 a.m. in California. Oh, I'm in California too. But I'm like, motherfucker, what the fuck are you doing up at 2 a.m.
To
in
find the
California?
commonality with
Goddamn,
you. That's great.
You goddamn
Yeah.
weirdo, so.
Well, hey, though, but I mean, if you ever are dealing with anybody in Europe, okay, like I can tell you this, like I can tell you, quite a few people that you deal with at shows, people you smash mugs with when you guys are out partying and stuff, Europeans that are with you and hanging out. I've been awake at 3 a.m. when these motherfuckers have texted me and spent thousands of dollars and every other motherfucker was asleep. So you know what? I'm not against it. I'm really not. Like giving that waking eye, like, oh, let me see if any of these motherfuckers want to buy anything. Oh yeah, fuck him. I'll answer him tomorrow. Is my snake gonna die? Well, I don't know. Were you looking at anything on my Morph Market page? Because but
I will say this though. All of the people who call the weird hours and ask like the weird questions and stuff like that too, that they know no one else is answering. Anytime I respond to those guys, 90% of the time they turn into customers. Like
yes, and loyal as can be, right?
Too. So I mean, yeah, I'm going to complain and I'm going to curse them out about it, but I'm still going to help them because I'm from New Jersey. So I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to make fun of you, call you a dumbass, and still help you. So that's just.
And you know what? If you message Exotics by Nature at 2 a.m., I won't do any of those things, and I'll still help you. And I've got years on this motherfucker right here. So yeah, I will definitely serve you better, but I don't have the cool ball pythons anymore.
I'm like, what the fuck? Yes,
Yeah.
I'm definitely like, hey man, give me your phone number. You stupid motherfucker. You do this though. Okay, got it. All right, bye. Click.
Well, I know now that the social media has definitely been an edge. Like and look, to mention another black guy, right? Like Keys, what Keys does with his show, and he's always got people on and he's always throwing things out there. Like the social media now has allowed so many people such an even edge. Fuck Miguel. We talked about Miguel. There's another person that's not a white guy that is gonna be hands over fist selling ball pythons over most white guys. That honestly, I don't know how that would have gone over if it would have been 2005. I really don't. I mean, honestly, you know what we should have done? We should have just kept the fucking Italians out. If we would have kept the Italians out, the prices would be so fucking high right now. Like everybody that I ever think of that dropped the price on me, I'm thinking, other than Jeremy Stone, was Italian. I mean, Jeremy was really the only one that really was very white, Mormon, fucking Utah guy that was screwing us. But, it was like, it was the Italian guys who were always the ones chopping us down. But
it's so crazy. Like this kind of business talk with the reptiles give me so much deja vu because I've been part of so many other subcultures in the past years. Like I used to ride motorcycles, like street bikes too. And I used to breed dogs too when I was in North Carolina. So that was another thing. It was almost like the same
your boys
thing.
in the house.
Your
boys in the house. Your boy said, I'm coming. He said, he messaged me. He said, I'm coming. Jerome's in the house. Thank you, Jerome, for coming by. No Limit Royals. Good having you here, man. Good having you here. Quite a few other people in the house. Bod's in the house. They're always wonderful. Troy, good to see you. Yeah. So, the Mr. Best Dressed in the house, with his fancy jackets. I mean, look, I would have loved to have competed with you back in the day, but I never would have done what this guy down here would have done. I never would have done what this guy right here is doing. I just wouldn't do it. But I love that you guys do it and you give it your own little spin. When I see Troy at shows with the jacket, with the smile and shit, I'm like, there's a guy wearing his brand. Wearing his fucking brand. I mean, dude, this guy's all up on his brand. And I mean, hey, that's it. That's it. You know, that's it. So,
Yeah, there's a time I would see Troy at shows, and I'm like, man, he's too fancy for me to even come talk to him. And now he's one of my favorite people in the whole fucking world. I see him in Arlington, I'm like, oh, that's best dress. And I might just like wave, and he might think I'm waving to somebody else. And now just doing like back to back shows with him, man. It's freaking awesome, man. It's just cool that so many people came along and like kind of took me under their wing. You know what I mean? It's like, hey man, come over here with the cool kids, man. Let's make money together and shit. You know, so.
Yeah, and that's it. It is make hay while the sun shines in this whole industry, but at the same time, we all end up realizing in the end that we have our own customers, and that you could even get tables with a bunch of motherfuckers in a row. And Best Dressed is going to sell some balls, and this guy's going to sell some balls. It might not be a bad idea to put a gecko guy in between the fuckers every now and then, but you know, at the same time, I mean, I'm not saying it's a reptile show, guys. It's a sausage fest anyway. But I mean, come on, you know, like when you guys are glad handing each other a little too much, like I'd like to at least split it up a little. Put a cage maker, like at least with Bob Vu and their whole crew, they got like Tristan with Gecko Junkie in there, and my boy with the hog nose, Nick Markham, in there to bust them up a little bit. They're like, hey, put Nick in between these two fucks. So there's 2 feet of two tables of hog nose to break up the balls, you know, because hey man, with the people out there, like how many people go to shows that hate ball pythons being dominating of shows, and how many of those people end up being in the ball python game at the end of it? Like most of them, a lot of them, many of them. So do you vend little shows? I mean, you've been like big shot at the big stuff, but I mean, you don't really have a lot of little shows where you are there, right?
I really, there's a lot of small California shows.
Is there?
But dude, honestly, up until this year, I was against vending. I was like, I don't want to have shit to fucking do with it, man. I was like, especially during COVID, once the YouTube channel popped and Instagram blew up and stuff too, and I was doing so well in sales, I really honestly don't need to vend myself personally, but I think it's important to show my face out there and participate and stuff like that too.
There you go.
So especially this early on too. Like I don't think anyone in the industry right now is above not being able to go to shows. You know, no shade on the guys who don't do any shows, but I just think that, you know, you have a fan base and a community base where people buy from you. And it's kind of cool to get people to interact with you in person. You know what I mean? So, and I know as reptile people, some of us aren't like that. Like 90% of us are like real like Aspergery and shit and fucking.
Well,
don't want to deal with anybody at all. But I think I just come out of your shell a little bit, you know, and fucking. I mean, just like look at Justin, man. Like if you watch Justin over the past couple of years, he's not the same guy he was 10 years ago either. You know. Like,
no, I can tell you that right now. I can tell you he's definitely gotten a lot more comfortable in his own skin in this whole thing. But, you know, I mean, at what point do you come out of your fucking house and look around and say, if it rains today, none of it's going to get on me. None of it at all is going to get on me. And this is not a bash. Okay. And I'm never going to say, I don't ever want to be thought to bash someone like Justin. But like I said to him when I left, you know, the reason I fuck with you so much is because nobody else does. And that's really like, I got to point out, like, let's talk about the real elephant in the room. And he's definitely come a long way and he's changed. But I really like where he is with things. Like, I like that he's working with the genetic testing guys and pushing it forward a little bit. And I like that he's working with the clutch software and he's trying to push something forward. Like, he's actually trying to better the industry. Whoa. Now, that's something new to me, Antoine. You understand that, right? You understand that as much as I love Pete. As much as I love Pete Call, and I will praise him forever, and he will always be my brother from another mother and someone I worshiped my way into this industry. He was never really all, you know, he's not that guy. He's not that guy. Whenever Greg Graziani went to Pete Call and said, Pete, I would really like to get into this with you and other people like Brian, and we'd like to start working on genetic testing for ball pythons and stuff. He said, I'm too busy making money for that shit. I don't have time. And, you know, in those days, Antoine, we were all too busy making money. We did not have time. There wasn't scientific curiosity. Nobody gave a fuck. They wanted to know, A, will it breed? B, will it reproduce itself? And C, will it fucking sell and make me money? And that's all they wanted to know. And at that was it. That was the ball python game. You didn't have Ralph Davis, Pete Call, Brian Bart. Like, Brian's doing his better to make the industry better in his way now with the Reptarium and the reach out. I get that. Like, and it works, right? It does its own. You are an ambassador to this trade. Okay. But you do understand how long I've watched the fucking kings of this industry not do a fucking thing, but build houses and drive cars, you know, and that goes a long way, you know.
And I think now it's changing because a lot of the
higher end stuff too, which I feel right now, a lot of us are all just circulating that same money within each other right now.
And that's
So,
it.
Like, and that's it. So we need more people to come out to like show up at shows and bring more people into our hobby, especially the higher end tier of it, to start making money, because like these prices, they're already going down, man. These guys, these big projects, I already see they sit on the shelf on their Morph Market page for 2, 3, and 4 months, and these big like slashes and stuff too, and it's just
getting crazy. Like, if you don't have a recessive gene in some of your adults, I see people damn near giving them away now.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be 5. Remember, like a long time
five
ago,
gene codoms, giving them away. Yeah, giving them away.
Just giving them away for pennies.
And bro,
man.
that's what scares me about a lot of things, you know. And now it's you know, when you think about, where did I go? I was on TikTok and I saw like somebody's statistic, and it was like hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff like that. And it was a ball python person. And I thought to myself, well, now, why would the number on Morph Market of 48,000, whatever, make me nervous when I'm watching this one person's TikTok that has 400 and something thousand people following it, that is only on ball pythons? Like, and this guy does not have like his fiance or his wife or his daughter with like titties out, like in the fucking shot, all like, look at the ball python, you know, like, I got the mic. Look at the ball python. Look at how beautiful it is. You know, like, fuck, none of that shit going, like, none. It's just ball pythons looking beautiful and them cutting eggs and showing shows with money and like stuff. And it's like celebrating the industry. Now, does that move the bulk of Morph Market that is not a recessive gene carrying project? And that's what's scary, bro. Like, when you've got everybody like, oh, well, if it's not het pied and it's not het puzzle, it's not het clown, and I hope it's possible that one of those things and no one knows, like, at what point do you stop holding on to hope? So where are you in the thing? You've watched it come from 2005 when Brian told you 12.5 for something, and you were like, like, when, dude, I was fucking, dude, you want to hear it? I was fucking 15 years old, and I asked Bob Clark how much an albino ball was, thinking it couldn't be more than 1,500. And he was like, yeah, kid, they start at 9,500 and I'm sold out for 2 years. And I'm like, 9,500. And I bought one for $3,000 when I was 20. Dude, when I was 15, I thought I was going to buy one for $1,200, you know? And so now you get it. And I look, Alan said something here. The old school guys don't have the customer service to compete in the market the last 5 years. They did well because they had the money and the genetics, but many people have that now and the service. I got to tell you, dude, I kind of disagree. There, because Ralph was a formidable motherfucker to sell against. Ralph had stickers and fake tattoos and business. Look, hey, you know Brian Potter, right? Everyone knows Brian Potter. Would you all like to hear really quickly the best Brian Potter story ever, since today he's in Key West for Halloween or whatever? The best thing Brian Potter ever did was in Daytona in 2006 or 7, when Ralph Davis released the Midas temporary tattoos, and he covered his table with the temporary tattoos. You had 20 of the forum members of the Ralph Davis forum actually have his logo tattooed on their bodies. And one of the 20 was my fiance. Had it tattooed on the small of her back, right above her ass. The Asian girl, Celia, that I was with, she had a Midas tattooed right above her ass. And Brian Potter, we were all in Daytona outside drinking, and I was with dude, Ralph was there. His wife never came to shows, and his wife came to that show. I got up, I walked because I was walking still. I walked to the bathroom outside, down by the beach, by the volleyball area, and I'm in the bathroom, and I see Potter standing at the sink, fucking with something at the sink, and I'm like, what the fuck is Brian doing? And he was Brian when he's drunk, so he was red, and he was smiling, and he was quiet. So
Like
Brian Potter gets to a point in his drunk where he's very red, he's very smiley, and he's very quiet. Like he doesn't talk. Like he'll just stand there and smile at you like he thinks he's answering you, but he's just happy. He's putting one of Ralph Davis's tattoos on the head of his dick at the sink. He's got his dick laid out on the fucking top of the sink top on Daytona, and he's putting the tattoo on the top of his dick. And I'm like, bro, I'm waiting for him to leave this bathroom, and I'm following him back to the table. He goes back to the table, and he's like, hey, Ralph, you know, I really like them tattoos. And he fucking near flips his dick on Ralph's shoulder as Ralph looks over and jumps up and chairs fly. And that is my absolute best memory of Brian Potter. But if you don't think people were marketing back then, Alan, they were. And when they had a fucking blog and they were like the superstar, like, dude, you don't have Justin Kabilka has a blog. Yeah. Does he have a blog where he talks about fishing and cars and like going out with his friends? No, he doesn't. And you know what that would be like? That would be the death sentence until he's sold out. Because he beat a working man's best friend. And Ralph asked me once, he said, bro, why do you think so many people buy from me like that? I said, because you're the working man's best friend, dude. You're the working man's best friend. Everybody that has a hard job that works hard every day want to buy a ball python from you. Why? Because I know that about you because I read it in your fucking journal every day. So what do you think about what Alan said? Like, you really think that the old school guys lost it? I mean, or do you think they couldn't keep up or what? Got spoiled?
I just think now the way the market is, it's just way more competition out there and people have different options. So if we're all selling the same thing and person A seems more approachable than person B, then that's what people are going to go with. You know what I mean? Because some people don't like the Ralph Davis personality, or, you know what I mean? Those type of people, the more abrasive people, because they think that they don't understand the whole shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those people back then, like Ralph, his model worked for customers because he was selling that dream. People wanted to be the hard working, everyday working man, but saw him doing reptiles and seeing him being able to get a boat and shit like that too. And, you know, I had a fucking boat when I was in the Marine Corps, but that shit wasn't one of the boats that fucking Ralph.
You didn't have a Dodge Viper. Yeah, you didn't have a Dodge Viper.
Didn't have a Dodge Viper. No, I had a fucking Nissan Titan when I was.
You didn't have a game room full of original horror movie memorabilia and all the crazy shit he used to post all the time.
You know, too, and you know, and there's room for those guys too. Like when Miguel first came on the scene, and he was showing the Impala, and he got the Lamborghini Huracan, and people was like, "Man, I want to get in the ball pythons and get like that." And people seeing Bob's cars and shit too. So like, you have those different avenues that people gravitate toward, and they have those people, and that works for them. You know, where mine is just like, I think my whole shtick is that everybody sees that like, there was a gradual development for me. I didn't just wake up one day, spend fucking six figures on animals, and all of a sudden I'm selling stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, people are watching. Yeah. I still watching me grow. You know what I mean? From having simple projects right now to, you know, the Hellbender project and the Sunset Puzzle project and the stuff like that. And people like, man, like I remember when he got those possible heads and they proved it out. And I remember when he fucking went online and grabbed those babies, and I watched them grow up on Instagram. So, you know what I mean? It just all depends on the person, and there's room for everybody, man. But back to the original question, back then, I just think that now, with just more people out there, more options, people are choosing the path of least resistance, if you will.
Yeah, and Quirky said it. Nowadays, people don't want to deal with assholes and have choices. Yep. So, yeah, ultimately, yeah, okay. I mean, hey, I was there the day there was a guy wanting to pay Kevin $15,000 for a spider, and Kevin had 20 of them behind the table, and he had 3 of them out. And that was Brian Kolwitz. When Brian Kolwitz asked him, hey, man, I want to buy a spider. And he's like, oh, yeah? You know how much they are? Kolwitz is like, I got $15,000 in cash. And Kevin's like, all right, I'll sell you a male spider. And he said, okay, can I see him? And he's like, you can't fucking see him? And he said, there's 3 of them up here. I know you have more behind the table. You have a whole box full. Can I look through them? And he's like, nah, you can pick from those 3 or you can go somewhere else. Because he didn't think anybody else had any for sale. And he came by me and he was like, dude, you know where I can get a spider? And I said, I just bought one off of Barchak last week. I think he's got another one. You know, and then Petros, you know, bought one too. Because Petros and I bought spiders same time. You know, Wilbanks and I bought pinstripe same time. I said, oh, go over there. And I went over there with him, with Brian. And I'm like, Brian, you got another one? This guy, Brian Colwitz, you know, did you ever meet Colwitz? Tall with the smoke glasses, always wearing a do-rag. He was the one that got into bananas first with Brock back in the day. Yeah, he looked like he looked like a piece of shit. Like he didn't look like anybody that had money. You know, I mean, he was like, dude, I never would have turned away anybody for money at all. But I mean, he really looked like he didn't have any money. And Brian was like, dude, you're a buyer, I'm a seller. And that was it. He said, you wouldn't fucking believe I almost knocked that Kevin guy out. And you're right. You know, yeah, Ralph's video with the flat line on it was sick back in the day, but he didn't tell anybody what it was. He wasn't revealing at all. And it was such an easy animal to make. It's not like it was anything special. If Ralph had it, it's easy to make. And that's the thing. Unless a guy like Ralph had come back on the scene and or like me even come back on the scene and spent 500 grand, bro, we're not really relevant. You know, not because we were assholes, no, so much as we couldn't keep our collection stocked fast enough.
It's just a lot of catch up to play right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of catch up.
And then just like the people now who's like, oh, I need to chase this project, I need to chase that project. I'm like, you're never going to catch it because as soon as you do, as soon as you try to chase this
the wind's going to blow another direction.
A year ago, by the time you make it, it'll be in DG and G stripe too. It'll be a 6 gene triple recessive male that's already being worked on too. He's already out there breeding. So, and then your project is like passe. So
where do we tell them, where do we get them in?
Improve on the project. That's all. Like whenever I see something cool, I always go, because all the genes we got right now, there's always like, I always like to say, you know, like a Mercury Mountaineer and a Ford Explorer, right? The same fucking car, but they're essentially 2 different classes of vehicle, like as far as like prestige wise and stuff too. And I don't know which one is the higher one than the other, but just fuck me real quick. So like when the Pompeii came out, I saw that it was black pastel, yellow belly, red stripes, spondylus clown and shit too. And I said, hey, it's a dope ass snake. And when I wanted to get to that project, I said, how can I improve? And the first thing I did, I was like, okay, I'm going with asphalt. So all the yellow belly shit is going out of my collection, maybe 1 or 2 snakes, and that's it. So I went the asphalt route. So that way, if I fuck up on one side and I make super asphalts, I don't have a white 6 gene clown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but let me ask you a question though, real quick. Yeah. Did you cheat and call Justin first and say, hey, bro, I'm thinking about doing this to this to this. Have you done that? And he was like, no, I haven't done that. That's a good idea. You literally hung up on that motherfucker and ran to the rack and threw it in there before Justin had a chance.
Oh, 100%. Like most of my projects now, like I'll see them at shows or text them. Like when I was doing the Ultrasound Batman project, I said,
cheater.
I said, hey,
cheater.
I said, hey, you an Ultrasound Batman? He goes, no. He said, no, not really. I was like, all right, cool, got you. And then I get to his house and he's like, hey, let's cut this clutch. This is Ultrasound Pompeii's right here, hopefully. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Fucking cheater.
Yeah.
Fucking cheater.
You know what I mean? So.
No, I never had that. Fucking cheater.
Yeah, so it's a cool way to just having these contacts.
Yeah, like I said, me and Greg Graziani were comparing the first albino cinnamons when a guy walked up and said, "Are those baby albino cinnamons?" And we said, "Yeah," and he said, "Cool, Mark Bell's got an adult over there, motherfucker." Silent but deadly. Silent but deadly.
What other industry can you think of right now where there's billions of dollars floating around it, and you can call the guy that's arguably at the top of the mountain by text message and go, like I'm part of the MMA world. And
fuck you! I can't even do that. You just happen to be that close with Justin. You're a dick.
So the top of the MMA world is Dana White from the UFC, right? We can say that, right? I can't call, even though I'm an MMA coach and a fight promoter and I manage fighters. I don't have Dana White's number and go, hey Dana, blah 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 blah. I had to talk to like 4 different people, a secretary, a man. You know what I mean? And
no, now hang on. Can I ask you something? Do you feel that you're so new into it that you just haven't seen an industry grow to that point? Or do you think that this will always be such a small cottage thing? Like in the fish world, okay. I don't know if you caught wind of this, but one of the biggest saltwater aquarium YouTubers, his name's Jake Adams. He died on a flight going to Bali this week. He died mid-flight. The world is so small that one of the #1 saltwater YouTubers happened to be on the plane to Bali with Dave Kaufman and happened to have hung out with Dave the entire flight until his stressful demise. He died right there on the flight, right in front of Dave. And Dave reached out to me and said, "Do you know Jake Adams?" And I said, "Yeah, I know Jake." "Do you know his family?" I said, "No, I don't know his family." And he said, "Do you think you could get me in touch with them? Because I have information that I know they want, because I was with him when he died." And I said, "Dude, I'm going to make some calls. I'm going to do what I can." I reached out to Mike Paletta through Facebook, who happens to be one of the #1 saltwater minds in the fucking world that's alive today. Like, he would be like the Tom Crutchfield, he's the man. But when I tell you this, every public aquarium in the world knows who Mike Paletta is. Every single saltwater aquarium person that's hardcore knows who Mike Paletta is. I reached out to Mike in a text message, and I said in a Facebook message, and I said, "Hey, Mike, I need to get somebody to put my friend in touch with Jake's wife. Can you help me?" And it was 20 minutes later, bro, and I had an answer. We got it. I got the message over to his wife. And you realize how small that makes this world for us? Yeah. For you, because you know Dave Kaufman. Dave Kaufman knows you, right? Yep. I mean, could have been you. If you'd have had a bunch of saltwater aquariums and Dave thought of you right then, he might have said, "Hey, Antoine, do you know Jake Adams?" You know? And it's like, dude, it takes a lifetime to get where we are, but the relationships we make are amazing. And it's a very small community. You're right. It's a very small community. But does it make you feel that we have a future, or does it make you feel that our days are numbered, I guess?
No, I think there's a future. I just think that, I mean, we just have to keep innovating and moving things along the way we are now. You know, I honestly thought during the pandemic that reptile shows wouldn't come back, because I figured
that. Oh yeah, no way. I thought they would be back like a gangster. I never thought they'd go away.
I just thought that, like, once I thought that somebody would come along and work on something that was going to just say, okay, we don't even need reptile shows anymore. And I actually thought about certain projects like that too, because you know, with the Oculus and the VR technology now,
right?
Like I've sat there like courtside at like Knicks and Brooklyn Nets games with the VR headset with the sights and sound thing, and I was like, hey, why can't we do reptile shows like that? Why can't we have a bunch of people at their facilities set up with the VR Oculus hubs, and you can have a time slot where you can go in there and look at different things like that too. You know what I mean? And I pitched it to a lot of people, and they were like, no. Some people goes, no, I don't want to touch it because I don't want to be the person to destroy the fucking show industry. And some people just and
I don't think it would do that. I think you could still do that VR AR experience. I think that would be an incredible thing to look into. And you know, look, Bob Vu and I talked about the NFT thing last week on the show, that him and Cedric started the whole NFT thing, and it's hand in hand with what you want to do. You know, the only thing you'd have to get the biggest problem would be money. Like, of course, you know, if you get Miguel and Justin and fucking somebody's best dressed motherfuckers behind you, you might not have no problems, bro. You might be able to fund the whole thing, but you just need a crypto game developer to do it, and a crypto game developer could do it, you know. But I mean, really, I think you're right, but I think a lot of you and your mindset of that comes from you being in fucking California so long. I think a lot of you Californians thought the whole world was going to be different after COVID. And I'm like, I'm here to tell you, I come from the meat-eating South. We're not changing a fucking thing over this virus. So
I had to shut my gym down for 6 months. And
that's terrible.
I called the landlord and go, hey man, you know, our city's on lockdown, because he's like somewhere in Riverside or somewhere. I'm like, hey, our city's on lockdown. They got police patrolling out here like it's the fucking, like it's 1930s fucking.
What borough of LA was your gym in?
Oh no, my gym is in Ridgecrest. It's in Kern County, so it's like north of like Lancaster, Palmdale. So I said, hey, can we move my lease up 6 months, and you know, we just push it that way? He goes, look, nope, I want my fucking money the first of every month, like we're supposed to, or you can get the fuck out. So,
and you know what my landlord at the fish shop did, dude? My landlord at the fish shop petitioned the bank that had the note on the building, and then when the bank granted him a 3-month reprieve, he gave us 3 months off the bank note. And that was
Yeah,
great.
so
I mean, he was such a great landlord. And so there we are. My business had a great landlord. Your business had a fucking shit bag.
so I just, I just still paid him every month out of my pocket,
Fucking assholes.
from the regular job. And then when it was time to renew my lease, I just told him
I was like, gave him the double birds, and he was upset about that. I'm like, you can't be upset about
I
both
bet.
things,
No, you can't.
So
You either look
yeah,
out for me or you fuck off. That's it.
yeah. So
That's
just to kind
something.
of, and just to get that money back, I cleared out my garage. My garage is like my house is a decent size, it's like 3,500 square feet. So my garage is like 45 by 30 something around there.
Oh
So
shit. That's
I
big.
took off I took all my guns out of there, like because I build rifles and stuff too. I took everything out of
Yeah.
there, put mats down, put up cage panels, punching bags, and started my gym out of there for I think a good year and a half. And now I'm back in the commercial building.
No problem
So
with the neighborhood. No problem with the neighbors. No problem with that.
what are you gonna do?
It's all good, bro. Look, hey, man. Hey, look.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to complain when the police are training at my house. So,
That's absolutely true. No, that's absolutely
like,
true. I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess that next time I do that, I'm gonna have to be sure I sell the police fish and reptiles. I can run the retail junket at the house.
The chief of police and the local cops call me coach. So
that's it then. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
So I make sure I
Seniority.
had that advantage to it.
Yes, sir.
Seniority
And then,
right there.
So now I'm back in
The commercial building on a different capacity now. So the old coach, he rented it out when I left, but now he just sublets the building to me twice a week. So I pay like a fraction of what I was paying before. So now it's just more snake money until I move back east and stuff too. So once I'm done, with this job and my youngest is 18, I'm just opening up a big jiu-jitsu academy and just doing the snakes full time and YouTube, Instagram. I'm getting paid decently between those two platforms. So it should be enough. Should be enough to pay the bills for a bit and keep me afloat.
That's good. And California way of living, it ain't cheap. That's for sure. It ain't cheap. Like I was saying to Adeline and Chris on Tuesday, if you're able to ship your stuff, you ought to find the cheapest place in the country to live that you're happy in and live there and make the most money there. So yeah, Jessica from the Whole Back Rack podcast in the house. Good to see you. She was a fabulous guest a few weeks ago. A lot of fun. She's got a brain on her. She knows a lot of shit.
So here's the problem, Sean. So if I move back east in 2 years, do I change my name or what?
Hell no. Fuck no. Why? Why bother? You could be high desert pythons. It's fine. You know what that means? Somebody.
North Georgia.
High desert pythons. Absolutely.
North Georgia. Fucking.
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, look, and anyway, I mean, I like the logo. I like the name. Again, another great logo that would be easy as fuck to reproduce, in a lot of media ways. Always admire that.
I never talked about this on a podcast either. A lot of people ask me who did it, and they think it's some name. So the guy who did my logo was a former coworker and jiu-jitsu student of mine. He used to work for Pixar.
Oh,
so he's one of the animators from like How to Train Your Dragon and all this like that.
Okay.
Too. So yeah, he was living up. I forget where he was at the time, and I said, "Hey man, do this." I was like, because at that time I produced just a regular super black pastel head pie, and that's kind of what put me on the social media map. Like I posted on Instagram, like some guy named Always Evolving Pythons messaged me and said, "Hey man, this is cool snake. You mind if I repost it?" I'm like, okay. And then I woke up with a fucking 1,500 followers more, and
yeah,
he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "Check out my YouTube channel when you get a chance and shit." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, cool." I'm like, "No shit, this guy's all right."
Yeah, we need to get his ass on this bullshit podcast too, because I never had him on here back in the day, and I would love to have him on.
A lot of this shit, though, when I think about it, bro, like I'm just lucky. Yeah, I do. I work hard. I work my ass off. And
I think you've earned it.
I'm organized and prepared too, but I think a lot of the stuff that fell on my lap, man, it seemed like it's just like random happenstance, So fucking like this.
Is that
like?
Is that life?
What's that?
Isn't that life?
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess. So,
when are we born? When are we born with some sort of a destiny that actually has a success stamped on it? Right? I don't know what better way I could say that. But to say that, like, yeah, there's been plenty of bad shit that's happened to me. Okay. Yeah. And while there are people listening to this podcast that don't necessarily like who I am or who I've been, I can tell you right now, in those bad moments, there is nothing I ever did to deserve those bad things. They're nothing at all. And so when
like
I've always
everything
I wasn't
get
lucky.
involved with, but I feel, I don't know, maybe
It's just me. I feel real like, what do you call it? Like that imposter syndrome. Like everything I've been a part of outside of like my regular industry. So like I've been in military aviation now for 23 years, right? I'm confident to say from that point, I'm a master of what I do. I know nobody that can do my job better than me. There is not one human on this planet that can go toe to toe with me and can outperform me on my job.
That's fucking amazing to be able to say that.
But I can. But every other thing I'm involved in, I'm great at. Like I've been nominated for Coach of the Year in California. I've been doing this. I got my black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and shit like that. But I will never be the best in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I will never be the best MMA coach to ever live. And all that stuff isn't going to happen. So when I get into the ball python industry, I want to be number one. Don't get it twisted. My job is to be the best who has ever fucking done this. It's not going to happen next year and 2 years from now, maybe not even 20 years from now. But I never get into a situation where I just want to be middle of the pack. I've never been that guy, but even to where I am right now, I still think as far as like quality animals, as far as like what I'm producing, I'm still at the bottom of the barrel. But in the meantime, I'm making up for it everywhere else as far as like having great customer service, having healthy animals, having
a 2-minute response time on Morph Market.
Having 2-minute response time too.
Which, by the way, if anybody's messaged him in the last 1 hour, you got fucked. I did my best to fuck you there. No, really, he's got his kid over there. Yeah, it still says responding in 2 minutes, so you mustn't be getting very many messages.
So, and that's for everything else. I'm making sure all the stuff I can control right now, I'm keeping it as high quality as possible until I start to catch up.
Northwest Morph said it. The luckiest people are the hard workers. Okay, look, like in my times in the past of my own company, I've felt the times when I've put in the most work, I've made the most money and made the most successes. And the time that I've put in the least amount of work, I've obviously made the least. I think that goes to everything we do. I don't think it has anything to do with necessarily animals. I think it goes, dude, even back to diet, right? Like you guys talk, right? Shit in, shit out, right? Like that's pretty much it. It's shit in, shit out. So if you're out there buying cheap snakes or now I'm not going to say if you're out there saving money on racks, there's a lot of corners that you can cut in this industry to save a fucking lot of money. But, I mean, in a general, I think the hardworking ones are the ones that, ultimately get the spoils in this now. I think now with the amount of competition in ball pythons, people are probably, as you said already, lowering prices. I think people are probably going to go to price before they go to customer service when it happens as a whole. And that's something that I can always say, bro. I would love to tell you that customer service yields business, but in America, it doesn't always do that. So you got to have the best looking snake and the best looking website and everything else. So what advice do you have before we get into your special projects that everybody wants to hear about? What special advice do you have for somebody coming up after, and this is not to spite what you've said earlier, but after you said you're never going to catch up, you're never going to do this and this, and you obviously believe there's a future there. You believe there's a path. What's your advice to these people?
Well, like I said before, it's just you got to go on Morph Market and see what's not being created. Because if you go, there's so many morphs on there. There's hundreds of the same thing, and you can look and see when it's first posted and things like that too. So when I start my breeding project, I want to figure out what's not being created right now. Because one, if it doesn't exist, you can set your own price pretty much on it, within reason. So that's the way I handle my projects for the future and shit like that. And obviously most of them when I do fucking, finally make something and something, I had this, I just never posted it. I'm like, fucking shit,
Mr. Ben Quintana from isopod.com says Black Dynamite. Yeah, man. For sure. For sure.
Just paving your own lane, I think, is the best avenue to stand out from everybody else.
Well, hey man, those lanes are becoming hard to paint with your own special lines, bro. You got Troy with his jacket, you got you with the big beautiful black bald headed Like, what did I call you? The Luke Cage of ball pythons, the fucking Luke Cage of ball pythons over here. I mean, what else are you going to compete with? Look, hey guys, I want you to know that all the pussy on Snapchat dried up for me the other day when this guy joined. Like when Antoine Hood, boom, on Snapchat, I'm like, there it goes, right? Say, there's a graphic that I love, and it just says, Kyle, save some pussy for the rest of us. And it's ultimately a dude looking like just fly as fuck. But
I wish you have told when you can't screenshot on that platform. You fuck.
Oops, that's right. Oops. Yeah. You know what they're gonna be saying soon? You know, I've arrived because I just got screenshot by Antoine Hood on Snapchat. You know, this is how you know I've arrived in the ball python community, because Antoine Hood just Snapchat screen saved me or whatever.
Gotta save some of that stuff for later, man. It disappears.
That's right. I mean, look, I've got a photographic memory. It works for me, but I feel bad for some of you guys can't just recall it in your eyes downtime. So that's your preach, man, is just do your own thing, make your own brand, and just find your own way. So if anybody out there can do a one-handed handstand while bouncing and using a ball python on their foot with a camera over it, that might be able to do it. Well, one of the coolest new ones I saw, have you seen? And they're watching this because they're on my Instagram. They have a 3D printed model hand, the black hand, and they put all their ball python. But it's so creepy, like Dexter, like nip tuck looking creepy hand. I like using a mannequin hand. I just thought it was really, really funny.
I mean, it's cooler than the whole plastic glove craze that people were doing for a long time, where they posted a snake in their cleaning glove. I'm like, dude, clean the shit off the glove first before you post the fucking.
Yeah, put on a new pair of gloves, right? Put on a new pair of gloves. That's funny. Yeah, I'm sorry. I still think it's weird. Like, it's one thing for me to see coral guys with gloves on, but I still think it's weird to see ball python people handling shit with gloves on. It has a real serial killer-esque sort of thing going on with it.
I get the most love and the most hate for my Instagram reel about the snake hook thing. So I get people who fucking like that video did so well because the comment section was people writing paragraphs of cop and please.
Well, because I have this one bloop noodle, he can be cantankerous at times, so that's why I need my snake hook to use it.
And the other guy's like,
he said cantankerous.
Yeah, I was like, no, you're a fucking pussy.
Oh man, you know? Any way you spell it, right?
Yeah, and then there were some people that started tagging people and snitching on their friends and shit like that too. Like
this is you, and this is you.
Yeah, this shit too. Oh. And then people really took it to the abyss. And you know the film I'm talking about when you go to put the hook in, and the voice of God goes, gay. So people started messaging gay people in the reptile community and saying, aren't you offended by this post? He's making fun of your people.
No.
Like and dude, and everyone I know in that community has said, yes, having a snake hook for ball pythons is in fact fucking gay.
Oh, bro, that cracks me up. You're fucking killing me over here, dude.
Yeah, and
I think that one's like 300 and something thousand views or something, but it was fun too. And and honestly, the people that's here like asking about how I do the reels, it's no secret to it. I didn't reinvent the wheel. If I scroll through Instagram and I see something that I think is really funny and is trending, I pull a Carlos Mencia and goes, hey, how can I put this and make it ball python relatable to reels? Right. And I just fucking do it. I'm 40. I don't have that fucking vivid imagination no more. I got fucking what's that shit they call from the military? Spicy deja vu? Fucking PTSD.
Spicy deja vu. I've never heard PTSD called spicy deja vu, but okay.
I don't remember. Yeah, so I mean,
that's what I do, man.
Yeah, so.
Oh man,
well,
fuck. My face hurts. No, the tangent's fine, man. I don't think anybody's made my face hurt on this show yet, and nor had 50 motherfuckers in here while you were doing it. So good job. Everybody like and subscribe to this wonderful podcast. I'm trying not to interrupt him too much, but it's just too exciting. Yeah, bro. So take me down the project pathway of Antoine Hood 2023, I guess. You know, yeah, bearded Bayou says spicy deja vu. I'm using that. I sure hope you're a psychologist or some shit and you actually use that. I mean, it would be even better if you actually fucking were in the profession. Please tell me you're like PhD in that shit. Spicy deja vu. All right. So let's talk.
So
Ball pythons.
Sunset puzzle.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that.
She's ovulating. She's ovulating right now.
If Ryan would have sold me one when he first released them, when I wanted them before I bought that fucking scaleless head piece of shit, I swear to Christ, I would already have fucking 15 sunset puzzles here.
Yeah,
so good luck.
So in the incubator right now, I just cut a possible sunset clutch that I bred to the double head male. All normals, so that's one down. But you know, I just probably didn't hit the odds. It was only 4 eggs, so I got 3 down. I got 3 more to go from there, and so I got 3. I got a bunch of possible head sunsets from Pat McKnight for like $200 a piece. So fucking,
you know, if one of them proves out, I'm good. You know,
so and then I'll put this one back into the rotation next year. So hopefully in about 50 some odd days, you know, I got some sunset puzzle eggs sitting in there. The bigger project, the Hellbender project, that's right now it's my nickname for it. So it's a GHI spot nose
stranger redhead asphalt clown. So
yeah.
All right.
So that's that project right there. So and I'm hitting it from a bunch of different angles, and the main male, the GHI spot nose stranger head clown. I think his spots had more red too. I don't remember. But anyway, fucking so that's that. And then like one of my favorite incomplete dominants is asphalt. So I'm doing super asphalt with
almost every recessive.
Super asphalt ultra male, super asphalt clown pies, super asphalt G stripe, just to see what I can use to fuck up the pattern outside of clown. You know, because I just saw the Hurricane G stripe, and all it did was make the G stripe line squiggly. It didn't do anything else to it.
Dude, I was one of the first people really bringing G-stripe homozygotes to the scene to sell them, and I can tell you right then, I would not have put G-stripe in very much of anything, just about how much faith I had in its ability to mix. Like the fact that it's being thrown in again and again is good. And isobot.com said I just had a mini stroke thinking of that genetic me. Yeah. And I mean, like, honestly, Ben, I didn't. I just think it's funny that these motherfuckers already have those genes all thrown into it. And it all happened when one asshole freaked out that none of it was het clown and threw it with a clown. That's the only thing that happened. The only thing that happened was one guy had one snake that was producing babies he wasn't selling, and he decided to throw that female snake in with a male clown, just a single fucking plain clown, and add 3 zeros to the end of the price of the triple hets, and not explain to anyone buying them that 1 in 64 on 8 eggs is a motherfucking long shot. That's all. That's all. That's what that face was. That face was okay. And okay, you can do it. Yes. Can you breed a quad het to a quad het and hit a quad homo? Yes. Yes, you can do it. You can also go to a gas station and buy a fucking lottery ticket that wins. You can also do that. So go do both of those things and come back to me.
I thought you were about to say you can go to the gas station and buy a quad homo.
Quad homo. Well, look, when I say quad homo, I do mean quad homo, and I don't mean in any reference to any gay, transgendered, confused or otherwise individual. I don't mean it. I don't mean it about that. And you know exactly what I'm saying, though. It's just like, at what point does somebody hatch out, hey, quad gene, blah, 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 and then, and look, who is this? Who made the G-stripe Hurricane? You mean who made the G-stripe Blitz first? You mean who made the G-stripe fucking whatever for? Like, this is another problem. How do you feel about...
Before you go there, watch your fucking mouth about Hurricane, okay? Because I know what you're going to say.
No.
Hans winner.
No. I'm not going to go any further with that. No, I'm not going to go further with that because I've already done that here, and I don't need to beat a dead horse. I've already said that here. What I'm saying is genes that have the same name that occur. Like, so, because I had a guy come to me, a guy with a name, come to me at a last show and buy my Blitz albino stock. and call it Hurricane. And I'm like, this is not Hurricane and this is Blitz. And he's like, yeah, dude, it's the same fucking thing. And he took them just the same. So at what point are we looking at that? Hurricane is Hurricane. PCF Funny Royal says, I don't agree, but okay.
I don't agree with calling it something like, if you buy it as the gene, you name it that. Like, I have
correct. I would hope that person carries the Blitz name.
Like, I have Coral Glow and banana shit here, and when stuff I bought as Coral Glow, it says Coral Glow on the label and banana. Even though
Antoine, it's okay if you change that to banana. It's okay if you change that.
But the same thing with like Hurricane, Trick, and Blitz stuff. The reason why I have my reason behind going the Hurricane route, because I don't think that people were doing the Blitz Clown, the Trick Clown stuff the way I wanted it to, and seeing a lot of stuff online that's possible Trick Clown, a possible Blitz Clown. When I saw a Hurricane Clown, I knew that wasn't a regular fucking clown.
Right.
But what I realized since I've been dealing with this gene for 3 seasons now is that what people were doing is they were putting it with their Blade Clown stuff, and it was destroying the pattern on it.
Okay.
So because I made Hurricane Blade Clowns, and I looked at it and I was like, but I knew it wasn't a regular clown either. So I kind of figured out without anybody telling me what the problem was. A lot of people were putting it into, because there was a time where everyone loved reduced pattern clowns. Everybody had super blade clowns and inchy clowns. It was like, just a little line down and make it look so pretty. But now when it's time to put that shit into busy pattern animals, like, why would you make a GHI super blade clown? That's net and zero. You're
making a zero-sum game. Yeah, sure. Right. So Savage said, let the genetic test for all these morphs that have 12 names for the same shit. But here's my question. If that's the case, do you know what we default to? The oldest name.
Yeah,
and you know what the oldest name isn't even Blitz. The oldest name is Trick.
Trick is the first one?
Trick would be the first one. Trick would be the first one. So, and I guarantee you, everybody that's invested in Hurricanes is not going to like that, including this man right here that I'm talking to, because he already stopped me before I said anything negative about Hurricanes. See? And the only real negative that I had to say about that originally was only in the namesaking, only because a breeder here had used the name Hurricane to describe a gene that was unrelated for many years, and a political bullshit situation where somebody using their website that, fucking that website that and brings me to my next thing, bro. How do we decide what a combination of all these morphs is called? When you tell me, what was the name of the thing you just said? What are you calling it?
Hellbender.
Hellbender. How do I find out what exactly makes a Hellbender?
Right.
We need a name directory so that nobody else can call that any other thing, somebody could say, oh, I have a black pastel yellow belly clown and I have a yellow belly black pastel clown. People are naming shit stuff that's crazy. So, like, I don't really want to get. Let me read these things because, like, damn true. How many Hurricanes out there came from Blitz or Trick's parents, dude? Absolutely. If Hurricanes are selling good, I would never go check my Morph Market. You'll see them listed as Blitz. I would never say that they're Hurricanes, even with that much more value and interest level on them. However, the guy that I sold them to was like, yeah, same shit. He's probably just going to go call them Hurricanes. That's it. That's why I'm not saying who that was.
So were you around during the enhancer line of Desert Ghosts, like the stuff from Canada? Did you have any of that in your collection?
Oh, no, I never had Desert Ghosts in my collection one day, not 1 minute, not 1 hour, because the Bells had it. And when they wanted money for it, I wanted to know exactly how much of it was out there. And if the Bells had it, that mean they had so much of it that if they wanted to fuck us, like Gourmet Rodent could do with Mackenzie, like so many of these other companies could do, there was no way I was ever investing in Desert Ghost. Honestly, it's one of my biggest investment errors in ball pythons.
So
it was one of my biggest follies.
I have Desert Ghost stuff. I have enhancer stuff. And people go, oh, it's the same thing. And I'm like, well, genetically, it could be the same thing, but literally, like, all of my Bell line DG stuff and my enhancer line Desert Ghost stuff, the enhancer stuff,
look totally different.
They look totally different. Like, I have the adult enhancer Bell I have is brighter than every baby Desert Ghost. The first 3-4 seconds when they at their peak, they're never going to look better than that enhancer. But the DG stuff looks better in certain genes, and I think DG clowns are better than enhancer clowns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that, but But when you add other genes, I think the enhancer G-stripe clown looks better than the DG G-stripe clown.
So
It just depends
basically,
on what things you do.
two different races of the same exact thing took different pathways, but have the same genetic composition. So therein, this would be a good line of questioning to do with the genetic testing guys, though, because that brings up like Daniel's comment, patent that shit. I'm kind of with you there, dude. If you could genetically test for a morph like Puzzle, I would fucking patent Puzzle right now. If I could do that, like I would literally patent that idea or the conditional use or however the fuck you could possibly do that. I'm not really sure. Somebody sick with it said you should say who it is about the snakes. No, dude, because I haven't seen him post an ad. When I see him post an ad with my snakes listed as hurricanes or as, you know, not blitz animals, then I'm happy to say something, but I'm certainly not going to say something now. I mean, a guy could have just been brushing it off like that just to make it as a deal. You know, it is what it is. Enhancer is better and different. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it works better in the long run for some things. And sure, some people are going to be marketing it differently.
Well, I decided to put both together because I already had one line that had clown in it already and G-stripe, and I wasn't going to start from scratch. So as a shorter way to put them together to make the G-stripe clown version of it, I put them together, and it turns out it made a better animal. So enhancer DG together looks better to me than enhancer or desert ghost. It brings out the best of both worlds. The yellowers are bright like enhancers, and the blacks are black like DGs. So I mean, out of me just being cheap and lazy, I think I made a better animal putting it like that. And I knew it was compatible because MBK Reptiles, I think, did it first back in like 2016 or something like that. And he sent me a bunch of animals and showed me the difference. And I was like, all right, so I'm gonna just go that route. So now I got enhanced desert ghost, head clown, head
Well, it sure makes you upset. You got to put that much stuff on the rack, though, right? I mean, like in the end of it, it just holdbacks become to be kind of cumbersome in this hobby very quickly. You know,
and this also, it just reminds me like that I did cross the line stuff too. Like I don't know how I'm going to advertise it or how I'm going to present them when they're up for sale.
Okay.
But I have a long ways to go for that too because I'm holding back a shit ton of females and bringing them back to the two males and making triple and quad receptions from those. So so I got like the hypo enhancer G-stripe clown project I'm working on right now, and you know, so I'm just.
Jay Quintana asked, what are our thoughts on Mackenzie, I'm assuming. And Paul, Sickwit had also wrote what happened with Mackenzie. It had a little buzz and it just fizzled out. Okay, the problem there, in my opinion, and I paid $5,000 for a single gene Mackenzie. The problem there with that was the people that were involved in it. Okay, Ben Cole bought the Mackenzies from Gourmet Rodent, from which he works there. He bought them from work for $500 to $700 a piece. And then went with Winston and they marked them up to $5,000 to $7,000 a piece, sold some to me and sold some to Mark Petros, and then didn't sell any more and Ben proceeded to slowly drop the price down. And ultimately Gourmet Rodent had a lot of them on the rack. And I believe Gourmet would have been able, it's back to like the bells with Desert Ghost. Gourmet could crush you. Like if I could be like, hey dude, how much, I'd call the owner of Gourmet Rodent as a personal friend of mine and say, Mike, how many Mackenzies are over there? He'd be like, bro, you bought that shit? What did you pay? And I said, I paid him $5,000. He was like, you did what? And I was like, I paid him $5,000. He was like, well, fuck me. Now I can't wreck the market. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, Ben pissed me off when I heard he took them and bought them from us to resell in Tinley for all that money. I was just going to drop them down to $250. But now that you bought one for that much, I won't do that to you. And I'm like, whoa, really? You're going to save the whole market just for me? And he's just like, yeah, dude. And I said, well, if you really want to piss them off, send me a female. So he said, oh, yeah, fuck, that'll get the goat. That'll get the goat. That'll do it. I won't have to fuck anybody. And I'm like, no, just send me a girl. So he packs up a full-grown Mojave Mackenzie female and ships it to me, ready to breed. I pull her out of the box. She's got 12-millimeter follicles, threw my mail on her, and we hatched Super Mackenzies as soon as they did. And they were fucking lit. They were pissed about it. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, that fucking shit was super cool. If you want a vanilla, okay, you can appreciate this, Mr. Yellow Belly Asphalt. If you want to think about Yellow Belly and Asphalt like Mackenzie and vanilla, Mackenzie is like a dark vanilla. That's it. It's like a dark, like if you think about asphalt versus gravel, like your asphalt's dark and gravel's light, like a highway's dark and a highway's light and a freeway's dark. That's the difference in a combination of vanilla versus Mackenzie. Now, when I likened this to vanilla, they jumped my ass. I got private messages from Brad Boa, from Winston, Winston and I are super tight, right? So I respect the fuck out of Winston. I got messages from him, and all of them said the same thing. Why the fuck would you talk about vanilla and Mackenzie being related like that? They're not. And I said, dude, I made a fire Mackenzie and a fire vanilla, and one was a darker version with the same pattern as the other. It's the same as asphalt versus gravel. And why in the world would you think it would make a difference in value to vanilla when a yellow belly is $50 and I just paid 25 grand for a super gravel? What the fuck? I could buy ivory for $200. I paid Bill Brandt 25 fucking grand for a super gravel when he first hatched the first ones. What makes you think by me saying that it's Mackenzie and vanilla related that it devalues Mackenzie? When really, dude, it made some badass shit, bro. Will was right. Will said, I like the color palette of Mackenzie and I love the supers. That was, if you're into vanilla, and vanilla can, if you have pastel and you don't have Desert Ghost and you want to make a quick run at it, you do it with vanilla. So throw Mackenzie in all your vanilla stead and tell me I'm not right. I guarantee you that would be a pro tip from an old dude right there. That right there. That gene is a fucking sleeper. Call up and buy Mackenzie's for no. Call Gourmet Rodent and buy them for nothing. Tell them you'll give them $100 a piece for them. I bet you probably give you all of them. Hey, otherwise, you probably would sell them for fucking Cobra food now. What are you going to do with something like that? You know? Fuck. Doing Mackenzie pies, Jay Quintana said. Bro, a super Mackenzie pie would probably be righteous. Make a fire Mackenzie pie, it'd probably be righteous. I'm sure you probably do a lot of cool shit, you know, with that.
Yeah, man. It's just, but I think Mackenzie is just going to be one of those genes that once it does fizzle out completely, it'll come back and somebody will market it differently and it'll be the same exact gene. And like, I just hate the whole rebrand thing, you know, like when they take the gene, it fizzles out and it's just like, a rebrand is fine. Just be,
you mean give it a new name?
Yeah, right. Just like changing the name on something is fine. It's not like the gene itself, bringing it back is fine, but don't bullshit about where it came from. Don't go, oh, I took like if you have a Mackenzie and you change it to a fucking insert cool name here, don't go, oh, this popped up in my collection in one of my breeding when I did double head to double hedge, and then this gene just popped up and it's proved out to be an incomplete dominant. Like to me, that's just some funky bullshit, man. Like it's not cool at all. Just say what the gene is and say that you're bringing it back now and innovating it and trying to add some stuff to it that hasn't been done before. And people will respect you a lot more for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think refining it, like I don't want to make the world's first, I want to make the world's best is something I used to say a lot, you know, back in the day on the original Bullshit podcast. And dude, I really appreciate the fact that I've known you for so long and that you're finally here. So thanks again for doing this tonight, bro. Really appreciate it. All you guys need to get in there and smash that like and that subscribe button. This has been a great show so far. How's that interview going on the ABCs of ball pythons? That is a good question. And you know what? I'm going to put the ball in Mr. John Feely's court on that. He's going to be like, motherfucker's always blaming me. You know, well, John's got the family and he's got the ball python thing. He's got his own podcast and he's got school. And I've got like part-time fatherhood and a whole lot of time on my hands. So I'm really going to get forward with that podcast because I do think it would definitely take all the shit here. Yeah, and of course Max said as soon as Justin makes a badass clown combo with Mackenzie, it'll take off again. Exactly, because I mean, look at where Red Stripe was. Do you realize how badass a super Red Stripe genetic stripe is and was and has always been?
So Red Devil, right?
Yeah, Red Devil. Yet it has never caught on. Like, you realize that the guy that brought that to Daytona is literally like sitting in an isopod forum somewhere with this other motherfucker that was just on here a minute ago talking about isopods. You know, speaking of isopod.com, that was come on, he did the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Morphs. John from, oh God, come on, bro. You remember on King Snake, he was doing the morph descriptions.
Oh, yeah,
John
I remember
from
that shit. I remember.
not Exotics Jungle, something like that. Fuck. Yeah, but John from the Hitchhiker's Guide to Morphs from back in the day, he was the one who brought that fucking combo to Daytona and showed us, and we were like, what the fuck? And you know how many people looked at it and said, what is it? And he said, it's a super red stripe genetic stripe. And they were like, yeah, I don't want that G-stripe shit. And they just bowed out with the clown and fucking puzzle and pinstripe and any other pattern morph that wasn't G-stripe. G-stripe was always a dirty stepchild. It was always a redneck stepchild. It was always just fucking horribly, dude, even, you know the story, right? Bob Clark ignored it and let it sit on a shelf for 5 years and never bred it because he never thought it was genetic.
It's coming back, man. The genetic stripe puzzle, man. We might see that soon.
Well, I made the double hets back. I made the first double hets a long time ago, so I don't know. I hope we see it soon.
If Jeremy's still in the comment section, he's on that project now. I think they should be hatching real soon. So I had to call him and he's got like 2 clutches coming from that project too. So I'm excited about that to see what puzzle does.
Yeah, because Beast Morph's out there still being a part of the problem, not a part of the solution, saying I still don't like G-stripe. Bro, be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, motherfucker. Come on, get with it. You know,
honestly, dude, there's genes.
We hatched the first Axanthic G-stripes here for years, for like 6 years straight. I hatched females, never hatched one male, sold the whole thing. The first dude hatched the first clutch and hatched 2 fucking males.
Dude, I'm starting to mature some now because there were some genes I wouldn't touch just because I hated the fucking name. Like,
okay, what was that?
You see me fucking, dude, you sell me a hidden gene Walmart, I'm gonna tell you to suck my fucking dick. It's just so
it's a terrible name. Terrible name.
Like every time I say it, like my jaw starts to fucking water and shit. So fucking Jeremy from Brass Man fucks with me all the time. But dude, there's some really nice combos with hidden gene Walmart. I just can't feel myself trying to sell somebody even though I have one. I have a soul sucker cinnamon spot. No, even saying soul sucker cinnamon spot.
Soul sucker sucks dick, bro. Soul sucker itself sucks.
I feel like I'm running a bunny ranch when I say.
Come on, what about Angel of Death? Come on, do you have any Angels of Death? You don't have any Angels of Death? You don't have any Angels of Death? Oh fuck.
But at the same time, though, like I said, it is
like, slander. Oh man, I need to have Rockstar Kevin on here to talk shit back to you about that. See what kind of reason he can have.
I posted that meme with the guy with the earphones when he takes it off, and I put every time I hear energy moment. So
everybody and their fucking mom started
tagging Kevin. Oh my God, Kevin, look at this nobody shitting on the hard work that you put in. I'm like, you fucking pussies. Like, get out of here. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, I hate the fucking name. It's a cool gene. It does some stuff,
but it doesn't magically produce some shit when you put it together that it's like, it doesn't make a fucking super asphalt, okay? It's never gonna fucking do anything like that. It's not gonna, so enough of that rant. But it's just, it's just
no, keep on going. Keep on going. They might have heard it in Plastown, New Hampshire by now. I don't even know. Probably not. Probably not. They didn't hear it up there. It's all good.
But it's you're not gonna hit on everything and shit too. Like when people say, "Oh, Hellbender, you fucking faggot," I know someone said it in the comment section, but it's okay. You know what I mean? But go out there, innovate, be different, make some new stuff, and when you make the first of anything, call it whatever you want, man. So and that's how
I took it. I hate this name, so let me make something better. You know what I mean? And to somebody else, that might be the corniest shit in the world. And to somebody else, it's a fucking dope name.
Bro, so we just had fun naming snakes fucking stupid shit. I had more fun naming the snort that looked like a cocaine line was cut across the side of it. I had more fun naming like stupid shit like Fluff when we had to rename that redhead gene and black, or the redhead and blackhead gene, and when it came up in Mojave's and I called it redhead and somebody told me I couldn't call it that because I didn't buy it from Ralph's collection of blackheads, and I was like, oh fuck, all right, what am I gonna call it? And I called my buddy Luke Martin over here in Baton Rouge, and I'm like, Luke, what do I call that thing? And he was like, bro, let's call it a fluffer. And I'm like, fluffer? I was like, I don't know if the industry's ready for that. Well, how about fluff? And he's like, that's cool. And he was like, but what are we going to do when people ask us why we call it that? And I was like, we're going to tell them it's just like a fluffer on a porn set. It gets the color up and it keeps it up the whole fucking show. It gets the color up and it keeps it up hot. You put redhead, you put fluff, anything like that in any gene. Like, look, you want a banana trick? Look at redhead in banana and tell me that banana doesn't have baby color as adult. Look into it. Look into it. Because with fluff, if you put fluff into it, like I had all those fluff Mojave bananas, when they grow up, they have tons of color. It's crazy how much I'm sorry, red gene, not redhead, red gene. Here I am, old guy getting red this, red that mixed up. Not the sporting good brand, and actual red gene. Yeah, it did great things to something like banana. So yeah, fluff is red gene. That's what I meant, not redhead. Sorry, guys. That's some new shit you guys are throwing in everything, this redhead stuff. But it does definitely look different. I see Michael Graham posting it every other second of every day. So yeah, man. Sean wishes a redhead. Fuck off, man. You're not the only one with redheads. And shut up.
John Bradley.
You heard her say my name, dude? You heard that just then? I paused it on that moment to save it just for you. You heard it just say, you heard your wife say something, say my name? Yeah, that was it. That's all I got to say to you. Anyway, so yeah, bro, this is Sean and Antoine. Are you coming to Pomona in January to the Super Show? I'm sure Antoine will be there. I'll probably be too fucking poor.
I'll be vending at that show with.
If I sell 10,000 USARK signs by then, I can buy half of a ticket. That's how much money I'm making.
So I'm gonna try something different at this show, and just to kind of see how. Well, out of the necessity that I don't have anything to sell at the Pomona show, so I got a couple little pet, the stuff from Morph Market. I'll bring some of that shit there, but I'm actually gonna have an ultrasound station at the show, and I'm gonna see how that works. So
well, the problem with let me throw you the wrench in the works. How does the show treat when motherfuckers show up at the door trying to bring their snakes in from home?
Well, it'll be the people that's already there, that already purchased stuff and
I got you
stuff there and stuff like that too. So just kind of have something different, and just to be a way for me to interact with people and stuff too. And we'll go through the whole we'll sanitize everything in between stuff and things like that too, where people I don't want to worry about mics and shit like that too. So we'll have alcohol swabs, and I'll probably buy an extra probe or a couple of probes and just kind of rotate them out and do that too. And to help get people into the industry more, because a lot of people come to these Pomona and Anaheim shows who don't even own a reptile yet and don't want to buy an animal because they don't have anything to put them in. So I'm going to go online and get a bunch of small hats and kits that comes with the little cheap thermostat with a little heat pad or whatever too, a small little setup for $50, $60 and just kind of sell those too to get people's minds going. And you know what I mean? So it's just something small to do, and do my part is to get some of these people into the industry as a starter kit. So,
what was cool was one of the rack builders that's out of business now. Years ago, what he was doing was he was building single level racks that would stack. And actually giving them to vendors for his cost of making them and letting the vendors sell them for his retail cost, just to try to get people running rack systems to try to enhance, promote more snake buying. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. And I think the ultrasound, okay, give me this, how long have you been using ultrasound?
Probably 3 seasons now. Yeah,
3 seasons, and you feel it's incredibly valuable to your sniper sense of breeding, or what?
Yeah, if I'd have got one 10 years ago and spent a shit ton of money on it, it would have helped me out preserve a bunch of males and not kill a bunch of males off.
Okay, so provided that I'm a guy in a wheelchair and you have a good sensibility about you, if I come to your facility and I fucking throw your ultrasound machine on the ground and I fucking break and destroy it, A, I don't think you're going to kick my ass because I'm in a wheelchair. You might, as long as I don't have a camera running. B, is it valuable enough for you to go out and buy another one immediately? Probably, yeah. Right. That's it. Plain and simple. Now, I've been telling people that since 2003, and you wouldn't believe the people that have told me in negativity, yeah, but you don't fucking need that. You don't fucking need that. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to offend you with it, okay? That's it.
To me, it's a cop-out for people to be cheap.
Yeah. Elite says, hell yeah, I've been thinking about getting an ultrasound. Savage says, best move we ever made.
every time I get pushback about ultrasound online, it's always people going, well, if you study the behavior of your animals and you can see them doing bowl wrapping and you see when they're in the cool spot, bites the hot spot, and then you learn how to palpate, you can definitely see fucking, no, shut up.
Put the goddamn dude. I've ultrasound so much now where I don't even freeze it and click anymore. I put it through, I look at it, oh, that's 10 millimeters. Oh, that's 18. That's 15 millimeters. That's 30.
Yes.
I don't have to freeze anything. It takes me 2 seconds. I grab one, boom. I can
Fuck
do my
yeah.
fucking whole collection by the time you palpate 4 fucking animals.
Yep. Done. Absolutely fucking done. Constricted Dale says, still don't have one. Get one, bro. Tag says ultrasound's the key to successful breeding. Beast says, love having an ultrasound. If it took a shit tomorrow, I would have ordered in 5 minutes after I got done cursing and I had a cool down. You know? Absolutely.
And like I was saying before, to me, it's to preserve the males, so I'm not overbreeding the males. You know? So like now with an ultrasound, I do 3 pairings and that's it.
Elite says, making this decision easy. Yes, indeed.
So, like, if the female is of age and of girth and has the body type to bear to produce eggs, and if they don't have any follicles, I'll do what I call a jumpstart breeding to get those follicles going. And the reason why I believe that pairing them first works because the Doublehead Sunset Puzzle Project. None of Miguel's
and
females,
Bill Brandt says that he fucking did that with fucking thousands. Well, not thousands. He did that with 1,000 animals. He did the breeding thing, and he said it only works 35% of the time. I don't actually believe that. I hate saying I don't believe Bill Brandt's actual number, but I don't believe that number. But yeah, so Miggy says I need one still. You know,
my female from that project is the only one going because I paired her when she got the size.
Do this comment. Any recommendation on models? Somebody already asked if you were going to be selling any. I don't know if he has a time in his life to be a medical equipment sales guy too.
So once the word got out that there was a cheaper brand other than the Breeder Circle brand that they use, the contact ones, they were on Amazon for a whole 2 years for $1,100. Now they upped the price to almost like $1,400 after taxes.
It's stuff too. So contact.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I paid $9 grand. No, I think we paid 8 grand, 9 grand. I think 8 or 9 grand, and we bought 6 of them. Brian Barchak bought one. I bought one. Like we got a whole group of 6 of us together to buy 6 brand new veterinary grade ultrasounds. But I will tell you this. My ultrasound's still running, and I bought it in 2003, and we're still using it here at least every couple weeks. So and I have an SIUI, a Shantu Institute of Ultrasonic Technology, SUI, SIUI is the brand that I have. And what did you say your brand was?
Contec, CONTEC.
There you go. CONTEC. Is there a delay on the scan when you're dragging it, or is it real time? Real good.
It's real time.
It's real accurate. Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Beast Morph said I have a cheap contact 1K Amazon, eBay. Great. Wonderful. It's fucking fantastic. You know, and honestly, man, I mean, if you're a boa breeder, you should have one just to see if your females are clean when they're done laying. Okay. You know how many times I've had female boas that had retained ovum or had a baby stuck inside of them that no one knew about? It happened several times when I was a bigger boa breeder when we had like 100+ boas. Yeah, definitely happens. And breeding, I'll tell you this right now, if you get your females between 18 millimeters and 25 millimeters, you can only breed them one time. You don't even have to breed them again. You can breed them once. You don't ever have to breed them more than once in the 18 to 25 range. You know, don't let them go over 25 without breeding them though, because then you might lose.
Yeah, that's the range I use too. So when they get about at the minimum 17, 18 millimeters, I'm okay. If
and you'll learn so much too. Like at 21 millimeters, they start eating again and they slam food until they get 26 and 27, and then they stop again. So you have a window there where you can jam a bunch of food into a mom real quick, you know? You learn so much with an ultrasound, guys. And if you guys need any pointers at all, don't message me. Let's just have a show on ultrasound. We'll do another show with Antoine. Let's do a Friday night, late night show where we just do ultrasound.
My proven breeder females that I don't start off with, like I only pair them one time. That's it. They do fine after that. So.
Okay, and a male can breed 25 to 35 times in a season, guys. So that means you could actually get, if your collection was ready, you could get fucking 15, 20 clutches out of one male. Yeah. Trust me, it's how I did it. The secret to my success was the ultrasound. That's it. I never would have
And
made it as far as I did.
And there were times back in the day I had like a black pastel het pie meal. I was trying to put a bunch of panatas together, and I bred that guy to oblivion, and he started like going off of food. I'm like, well, he just went off food last week. Maybe I can pair him one more time, and then, boom, there's a fucking doornail. So, and now I'm at the point none of my males go off food now, none of them when they're breeding, because I figured out a way to what I call dog treating them now, where during the breeding season, every time they finish a lock and go back in their tub, I throw them a big juicy fat rat pup and they keep eating. So my males gain weight during the breeding season because they eat more often. So I'm trying that too. And
so Savage says, we know a person we won't name that did 45 females with 1 male 1 season. No way. No way. Don't even buy that. Savages, don't even buy that. Don't even buy that. Don't even believe that. Don't even fucking believe that. That never happened. That never fucking happened, and I can promise you that right now. That never fucking. I'm not calling y'all a liar. I know y'all really well. Whoever told you that was full of fucking shit. And if you saw their records, they fucking lied. They had
back
3
to breeder
males.
now too. So what do you think? So right now we're doing genetic testing with the sheds,
Oh yeah,
right?
I bought a Mackenzie from. Yeah,
We're doing that. So let's talk. So I think the biggest jump as far as reptile breeding is going to be the commercialization of direct collection and artificial insemination from males, the way they do with some venomous species now.
Okay, so problem with that is reanimation of reptile sperm, because where in that process you're going to want a cryopreservation process. Okay, and you're in luck because I have a off-topic Tuesday coming up in a couple weeks with a veterinarian. That is the veterinarian that I did the cryo project with on corn snakes. We extracted sperm from male corn snakes. We cryo froze it, and the LSU biomechanics department at the medical at the human medical research side of it, from what I understood, could never reanimate the sperm successfully from a corn snake. And ultimately, it was a precursor for the ball python trade, because we did this in like 2006, and the research was all done under a private grant so that it could be used for private profit later by him and the other veterinarians involved, right? But it didn't work. It didn't work out. Okay.
So what about direct collection like that day? So say your female's ready to go now, but your male just
that's viable.
So
that's viable.
Right.
That's viable. But direct collection.
But storing the sperm. So now you don't think so. Right now, if I have a fucking stranger moray clown right now. It's probably not going to be anytime soon where you can like buy straws,
a vial,
straws from
right?
Okay.
Like a cow or a horse or some dogs, like right?
Yeah,
some dog species, yeah, or some dog breeds. Sorry, I didn't mean to say species. Didn't mean to give you guys more credit than you were due. Fucking dog people.
So right now, so we know. So
ultimately, like I said, dog people weird me out, and ultimately, that's where this thing's going, with a genetic registry, with a website and a tracking system. And honestly, it sounds a lot like a way to indoctrinate people into a pay system, like make people do it, because like it's like right now, like I almost feel bad that I have a very closed collection. I don't bring any ball pythons in here at all, and but I'm not offering, testing for my ball pythons and stuff, because I don't really feel I have the type of snake that even needs to sell with that level. If you're that worried about it, then get it tested. And if it shows positive, then I'll give you your money back, that kind of thing. But, I'm not really a breeder. Like, I'm not feeling the pressure that you're feeling of like, testing for viruses and things like that. But wherein do you feel that it's going to like rope the hobby into a way of you have to conform to this or else? Like, is it something you're going to have to do commercially to make it? But look, we already heard it from Kabilka on an interview where he said that he brought up something I didn't even consider, that the shed skins would have to be shipped in a CITES shipment from other countries. So you're going to have to get this technology operating successfully in other labs in other parts of the world, almost in unison. Right? Like, wouldn't it have to be in some unified effort? Like, you couldn't have World of Ball Pythons and Morph Market. You couldn't have that. You'd have to have one thing. Like, how do we do this?
Yeah, that's gonna be for
Yeah, right. That's when men's egos have to be put aside. That's
Yep.
me. You know that I don't know if that has. I don't know if that's where the women rise up in reptiles. The women rise up in reptiles in organizational skills and politics because we obviously have fucked it sideways. I don't really. But that's the thing. Like, how do you do it? And you don't run into the guy that's like, well, you know, I've been doing this a little longer than you, and I've had World of Ball Pythons longer than you've had Morph Market, and I think it should be this way. Well, fuck, bro. Now you're driving a fucking wedge between all of us. And they are doing testing in Europe now too. Yeah. And World of Ball Pythons is following the shit from my understanding. Of course it is. I mean, look at what it set out to do. It set out to do the impossible. It set out to catalog every combo of every morph of ball python. And that's almost impossible to do. That's why I said until you have a registry of names where like Antoine can literally go to and say, here's my trademark for Hellbender. You've trademarked Hellbender. Like Justin Kabilka's trade. You did know that Bob Clark and Mike Wilbanks trademarked Fire back in the day, right? And if you didn't buy it from them and have a receipt showing you bought it from them, you got sued. That's why that's why sulfurs are called sulfurs, because David Reed got a lawsuit from Wilbanks and Clark. Because Eric Davies in Europe hatched the Fires and hatched the White Snakes, if you remember that. Eric Davies hatched those.
See, but this logic right here, though, this is where people are going to justify changing the names of some of the stuff right there too. You know, so,
Dragon Soul here to support Antoine. I'm one of his people.
That's a big inside joke.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, Patrick is one of my people. Yeah, so
he's a good guy, man. I love that dude, man. That's gonna be another one that you're gonna have on your show soon, man. He's awesome.
Wonderful.
But,
I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, but that's gonna be the justification with a lot of people. Where that's why Hurricane was changed from Trick and Blitz, and that's gonna be people's cop out now because of this conversation. So but guys, it's not the same fucking thing. You know, like all these genes don't have patents on the names, which I'm starting to think a lot of them should.
Well, I mean, like, okay, let's just say this. Puzzle was never exported from Africa. Puzzle was hatched in a private collection and never, ever, ever exported from Africa. However, every hurricane, every trick, the first hurricane, the first trick, it would have been an African snake. And at that point, do you know how many yellow bellies were imported from Africa before they were really captive bred in the market? Like you could buy them every year from Africa, and you couldn't buy them in this market. You couldn't buy them.
So much so that they were gravid yellow bellies coming in and producing ivories. And fucking in the wild, there were yellow bellies and yellow bellies.
That's right. Meeting in the wild.
Breeding,
Meeting in the wild.
So, that's a lot, bro.
That's a lot.
That's astronomical odds. So yeah, I believe it, man. It had to be a shit ton of
Daddy Platty was a wild fucking double gene. Yeah. Right? Two genes in one. Daddy Platty was two genes in one. The original blackhead with the red gene in it, right? That we were discussing a little bit ago. That was a double gene snake out of Africa. Puzzle had Daddy, and which is Weirdo, I think is Daddy, something similar to Daddy. If it's not Daddy, it's something similar. Weirdo and that other what do you call it? The really heavily patterned cryptic gene in it. And I never bred that shit in a Puzzle. I never made that. That was the original stuff, right? So but my opinion was always, and you know who disagreed with my opinion in the beginning was Justin Kabilka. He said that he disagreed with me. I thought that the reason there were so many ball pythons in Africa and there were so many mutations was that every year that the African people there would collect the females, they would let them go in different places. Like if we really had a thing right now, Antoine, where I reached out to every hobbyist in the southern United States and said, everybody go outside and catch each other's corn snakes and ship them to each other and let them go where you caught the last corn snake. In 10 years, 20 years, I bet you we have a bunch of new genes. I bet you we have a bunch of new mutations. It's just a hunch, man. Nowhere in the world has there ever been a populace of people harvesting a reptile like that. Catching them all, holding them for egg laying, letting them go. every fucking year. Not keeping them and feeding them and breeding them, but putting them in the back of a pickup truck in a garbage can and driving to a bunch of grass and dumping the fuckers out.
That's freaking nuts, man.
I mean, wouldn't you think that has maybe some merit? I mean, obviously, it's very,
It could, right?
it's very hypothetical, right? It's very unscientific, unproven.
Well, I mean, you can look at some of just the quote unquote normals. If you watched Dave Kaufman's thing, like depending on where they were, some of those always had like that little gold blushy reduced pattern, side pattern too, and that was interesting to me. Like that there were different like normal localities.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, the Nixon line of tri-stripe came from a female het tri-stripe that was imported that he bought from Outback Reptiles that laid eggs, and the first egg that hatched was a female tri-stripe. So you had so many het tri-stripes in that area of Africa that in that 1 year, Stefan Brohammer imported 7 fucking males from the wild in 1 year. And one dude brought in a female normal that was gravid that hatched a tri-stripe. So it's very interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised in Africa that there is a wild caught albino pied. That wouldn't surprise me either, because albinism and piebaldism, those are the ones like, it's not that we just discovered them first and that there was a lot of other recessives around. So they were ones that were early on. And albinism and piebaldism is a popular recessive gene in all animals too. So, I mean, it's a possibility that a double het to a double het came across his path one day. You know what I'm saying? So
true, but I also heard for the longest time that there were never any wild pieds after his pie. I don't know if there's any now. Did Dave see any wild produced pieds? That Pete Call, well, it wasn't Pete Call, it was Ernie Wagner. Most people don't even know who the fuck Ernie Wagner is, but Ernie Wagner and his partners bought it first and bred it first, but Pete actually produced from the hets first. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
But if the stories were true that when people were catching pieds originally and thought that they were just sick snakes or that there was something wrong with them and they just discarded them and threw them back, if there's truth to that part of the story, then it has to be.
If I ever dig up a photo, I'll send you a photo of something that's either a monarch or a... Now, this was when bananas were 50. No. I'm sorry. This is when Brock Wagner had not even produced a banana yet. And he bought that banana clown female from Colwitz for whatever. I've heard it was 40. I've heard it was 130. I've heard every price there is. I've heard everything. There was a photo that Barchak sent me. Brian called me and he said, dude, this snake is $5,000 as is. Should I buy it? And I said, yes, you should buy it. And he's like, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not buying it. And I'm like, you should buy that. I said, for $5,000, you should fucking buy that. If you don't want it, I'll buy it. The story was that a kid or a hunter of some sort came across this monarch looking adult ball python that was a male in the grass and hacked it up with a machete. Or I also heard someone hit it with a lawnmower. Okay. The side of the snake was ripped the fuck open and gashed open. And Brian was like, dude, this is a breeder size male. Noah wants to sell me this fucking thing with its side ripped open for $5,000. And I was like, bro, you got $5,000 falling out of your ass left and right. Send him $5,000. If it lives to get here and you get one clutch out of it, you are the fucking man. Because this snake is going to make Brock millions. And you know what it did? It made Brock more than I ever thought it would. It made Brock probably 3 times what I ever thought it would. And that snake fucking died in Africa, though. It never made it over here. But, dude, it was a picture of a ball python, and its side was like, whack, 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 whack. I mean, it was ripped up. It was ripped the fuck. And these motherfuckers were trying to sell it. But it was in a time when, dude, you talk about the Wild West. This was the Wild West you never knew existed. The Wild West where we all had our ears to the ground looking for the next new thing. And it's something you guys stopped looking for. So is anybody going to go look for it? Or just Stefan's going to be over there in Africa bounding around looking for it?
I mean, I think it's so much stuff now, man. Like, there's people popping up new shit in their collections, new recessive stuff off of, you know what I mean? Just
yeah, but it's not extreme looking. It's not like a fucking gene by itself.
Have you seen a tornado yet?
No, I haven't seen a tornado yet. Actually, Yeah.
so fucking it's badass, bro.
Yeah, I'll
Like
have to
I
look.
fucking yeah, and Tornado. I'm getting into the project, and dude, I messaged Justin about it like back in March and sent him some pictures. He goes, "This is recessive." I'm like, "Yeah, fucking." He goes, "I'm gonna look into this." And then the other day, last week, the people who made it said, "Hey, we're sending all the Tornado stuff to Justin."
You fucked up,
so
bro.
he, so,
You fucked up.
Actually, I wanted him in the project because I didn't want to fucking, you know what I mean? Just
Bite it off.
The numbers they have right now, they resent me the new numbers. They're like, "Oh, it'll be 35,000 now." Like you told me it was going to be 25,000 euros like 4 months ago. Oh yeah, but Justin has it. They said that,
but it's so many words. So
yeah, I know, and I don't really think
yeah.
that's very fair, but whatever. I mean, it's how people do business.
It's going to be a popular project, and I know I'm going to get involved in it one way or the other without having to go through like the whole European market right now, which I have no problem with. But when you can text Justin and he messages you right back immediately, that's a good source that I have. So I mean, I'm cool with being able to do that, you know.
Alan said the original Spartan female is a wild caught het pied. She produced a pied when bred to a visual, so there must be pieds in the wild. Okay, so having said that, I was going off information I had that ended probably in 2016 or 17, man. I like, you got to realize I stopped paying attention to imported ball pythons when the champagne came in, because that was the last thing that really came in. It was huge.
Remember when
Sunset and Viper. When all leopards were het pied, yeah, because all leopards were het pied, yeah, all leopards were het pied, yeah, absolutely, all leopards were het pied, yeah.
Dude,
at one point,
that was a crazy time. People were fishing through leopards, and there was some proven out, and then I mean, it was just piedmontism was attached to it, but then after a while, they realized it was a standalone gene, you know, so.
There was no way for me to ever separate it from my shit without going another 2 generations in, because when I got leopard, it was so in pied, you know, it was just, they were separating it at that point. So yeah, you've been around for those times. So I think now you get the seniority vote from a lot of these guys. And I think that's cool.
I went through a lot of your podcast so far, and which a lot of people really didn't touch on. I know Chris did early, like a little bit, but didn't. So I want to know with the way you left the industry at first when you went to go do like fish and aquatics and shit like that too. A lot of those relationships that you didn't have after you left, are a lot of those being repaired now, or do you plan on like fixing a lot of those?
Well,
those people
I mean,
you didn't fuck with, or what's the plan with that?
Anybody in specific that you're thinking of that I can address?
No, because I don't know exactly who all you decided to stop talking to. I don't really know.
So
that part of it,
I guess you could say, I burned Brian pretty good. So he's got. Like he's got right to feel away, but I don't think he feels away. I think he just at this point is doing his own thing, and that's it. And I can respect that. Although I would definitely like to revisit it with him, not publicly, not anything that needs to be even acknowledged publicly. It doesn't need to be a photo and a handshake or anything. You know what I mean? It would be nice for me personally to. Like I've mentioned on this show, there's not going to be very many people in the world who Lori Barchak knitted quilts for both of my kids, bro. Like that's how close we were. And so that I think is still very present in my life. But then again, so are my beefs, right? So if you think after all these years that we've known each other and that I've come back to this, I think I've come back to Ballsh in a way that was unexpected. I don't think people expected me to come back to this and have this demeanor. Yeah, I still interrupt a little bit. Whatever. But I got shit to say. And a lot of times those interruptions turned into some point of focus that is interesting if you can just put your frustrations down for a minute and listen.
Yeah, but so it's just that like when you were at your last couple of shows and you get like the whispers of, oh, he said this and he said that, and fucking I always laugh because somebody was like, oh, Sean said he come shoot up this fucking show, right? so
come do what? Oh, shoot up the show?
That you come shoot up the show and shit. So what always made me laugh is that I always wanted to ask you, would you put your brakes on your wheelchair first, or would you let this chair go back like would you let this shit move back during the recall? Listen like that.
So like, all right, there's not a, I mean, look, a lot, life's something that something that Fat Man has instilled in me is that life sucks for everyone. Nobody gives a fuck. Now, I don't agree with that. I disagree with that so much because I do feel the love from people here more than I ever felt the love from anybody in the fish world or anywhere else. Honestly, there's more crooks in the fish world than anything else. And the on-running joke for that is in the reptile world, snakes are not slimy, but in the fish world, bro, they're fucking slimy, and the slime smells like old nastiness and gross shit. And like, dude, the fish world, I love aquatics. I love the hobby. I love the science of it. I love the we'll call it brotherhood, but it is a little bit more sex balanced in that hobby, with females and males. Okay. And with races and all that type of shit. But if I'm really going to look at aquatics, I found a very frustrating clientele. I found a very frustrating bunch of dealers and sellers that make more money off the death of fish. And and Bearded Bayou said it, man, the fish community is way more toxic than the reptile community. And he couldn't be any more right. And honestly, I had an option. Antoine, I could have sold the last of my reptile interest, meaning everything else here, and let my employee go and everything, and put that money into my fish store after the hurricane last year, Hurricane Ida, that wrecked me. I could have done that, okay, and had enough money to continue carrying the fish store, re-sign my lease, because I did finish my lease. I sold the store. I didn't close it. I finish out my lease and everything else. But that would have taken me out of this hobby completely. It would have taken me away from my reptiles, from my animals that can live without power for weeks, that can travel without oxygen, that can, like, with very little, and everything, right? Like, I thought about that. And then the other option was I could sell this business for a fraction. I mean, a fucking minuscule, tiny bit compared to what I've put in it in the last 3 years. And I could have more time with my daughter. I could have more time with my reptiles. I could travel to shows again. Maybe I could do this podcast thing again. And I thought about it, and I thought, what did I not do last time that I could do now? And I could do a better job at this, because I think I did a shitty job at this, even though I think it was a great thing at times. I think that the things that we heard from Ben Rennick will never be heard again. And that is why that shit is still up. And that there is a lot of the 2015, the 2018 bullshit Sean that I regret more than anything, but I can't take it back. And the worst thing I could do would be to censor it now and like pull it. Because if I did that, then it would take all of the value from all of the shit that guys like you told me they built their fucking collections and stuff on. And honestly, dude, it warms the fuck out of me that I still get that, Antoine, and I never stopped getting that. Chris says the best money I spent since I've been gone was the $15 a month it cost me to host bullshit and keep it going for hobbyists. And you know what? He's absolutely right. That's the best money I've spent since 2018, has been keeping my voice out there. And you know what? I'm embarrassed by a bunch of it, bro. I don't know if this was what you were, is it answering your question?
Yeah. I was wondering.
I'm embarrassed by a bunch of it, but you know what? There's a bunch of it that I fucking own in this minute that I'll stand, I'll sit, I'll roll backwards, forwards, fucking wish I could roll sideways half the time to avoid some stuff.
But every good podcaster right now has gone through it, though. Everybody has gone through the fucking cancellation thing, and you know what I mean? When Chris was going through his stuff with the women episodes, and there was whole like anti-misogynistic groups trying to cancel him, and when MJ bought on Chris seriously after the Texas thing, there were so many people on Facebook going, "Oh, he's just doing it for clout." And you know what I mean? There's always going to be people that's going to pile on and have this mob mentality, and the tiki torches is going to fucking come out. It just goes with, dude, fucking, there was a fucking Reddit page for Justin Kobelka because of his post about killing rats. They were calling him Justin Kills Rats.
Justin
that was
kills
JKR.
rats.
that was some JKR shit. You know, there was a whole shit
Justin
about
kills
that.
rats. Is
Yeah,
that why
they
he
was
changed
coming-
it to Canova?
They were coming for his head. They was
That's
coming
what
for
Blake
his head about
Stewart.
that,
That's the
man.
day Blake Stewart messaged him and said, "Hey, Justin, we got to talk, bro. My
Yeah,
name's
man,
Blake
it's-
Stewart, and I got an idea." Yeah. So, Dale Richards said, "Love the old show, love the history you brought." Thanks a lot, Dale. I really appreciate it a lot. It really does mean a lot to me. But, dude, look, like so I talked to somebody and I mentioned this stuff earlier. All right. One thing you'll find out once you start a show, and I'm not going to say any podcasters out there are doing this. I'm not going to point fingers, and I'm inevitably going to hear, "Oh, he was talking about this guy." You will grow to a point to where you think you are a bad motherfucker. And at that point, you will feel that you have a soapbox that you can stand on. Now, I had a soapbox brought to me, delivered to me for actually it was paid and put in front of me. Like I was paid to stand on it, even though I couldn't stand. And it was given to me in a way to where when I went to shows, people were like, "Man, I'm glad you said what you said because I've been thinking what you said and nobody else says it." And it made me feel like maybe I should say more and maybe more of, and I found that some of my shit was way off base, but a lot of it was so on base, but it was so shockingly different than what anybody else was saying that it made me look insane to the point to where, bro, I got a t-shirt in my safe that's got a skeleton of a snake on it that says BHB's first scale is female. And it's a skeleton of a ball python on the front of a shirt. Somebody brought that to me at a show and gave it to me and said, "We'll pay you to wear this." And I'm like, I'm not wearing that. I was asked to be the chairman and spokesperson of the Facebook group, The People Against Brian Barczak. And I had to tell those fucking criminal motherfuckers, those absolute slanderous cocksucking people, that my beef was my beef and that it had merit when it was for me, but it didn't have merit if I did it for them. And by that, there was a private thing. Did I ever show screenshots of those conversations? No. That, I have a hunch that the person that hacked Brian's phone and did that heinous shit that affected his family negatively, I have a hunch that that person messaged me and tried to give me that information weeks before from an anonymous profile. And I said, what you're doing or what you want to do by hacking this person's accounts is criminal. And I will not be involved in anything criminal, And so it's sad that when you raise a concern, Antoine, that maybe some of these people in the industry think you're ready to throw shit at people like they are, when really you have a real fucking beef. And it was a real beef. I really invested 50 grand in a scaleless head to never see any results of a scaleless ball python, to never hear about its health and its well-being or anything. So that's it. I would like to just kind of
right, but
move on with a better
But
production.
because of that situation, though, there's sometimes in some industries, there's going to be martyrs. And with the Scalers project, there were a lot of fucking martyrs who spent real legit money like that.
Yeah.
Now, because of you guys, projects now I won't get into because I was a victim of the Desert Project. So I invested most of my damn fucking collection.
I was as
adult
well,
versus
but I was part of the people that got to sell a few. So I made my money.
I got by the time
the Wall Street Journal came out and the videos came out about them not being fertile, they were already 2.5, 3 years old, ready to go.
Do we even need to say anything about this, guys? Do you even know what a desert is? Some of these people probably don't even know what the fuck that is. Okay, female deserts have strictures and they can't pass follicles from their ovaries to the oviduct. That's it. It gets jammed up in there and they either lay slugs or they die. That's it. Can't be done ever.
But my fuck up was I used a viable project that I didn't like, that was making a lot of money, to go into that project. I got into GHI for super cheap when they were still in the tens of thousands of dollars. I got a mail for $4 fucking grand.
And I used that to make GHI combos and
trade it for desert stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but you remember those desert combos, and those desert combos, like Savage said, too bad because those combos were disgusting. Those were awesome.
Dude, the Tiger is still one of my favorite 2 gene combos.
Oh yeah, bro.
Man.
That
fucking
bitch was
desert,
fine.
the desert itchy, fucking nothing's fucking dude, very few animals can touch that fucking piece.
Yeah.
That, like, at fucking 300 grams, it was a masterpiece, bro.
Yeah, so you brought this up pre-show when we were talking. Reptile said, as someone just getting into the hobby, I appreciated the breeder business shows. And that was before like the leveling up type shows that some of these other guys have done, where I basically, and they're still up. You guys can go download and listen to them on any of the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, and any of that shit. You can go listen to them. The breeder business episodes have some various tips. And Antoine was telling me that some of the stuff he learned early on was from that.
Yeah, like a lot of my clutches were saved because you had the tip about like when you have like torn eggs and shit like that too. So I remember like going back trying to find. I remember him saying something about this, going back 2 or 3 podcasts and finding it too. And you fucking like you saved some badass animals from me, man. So
Sweet,
I appreciate
love
it
because at that point nobody had information out there like that. You know what I mean?
And when I posted the first liquid Band-Aid to save pinstripe ball pythons in 2005 when they were 20 grand a piece, that the beginning of the year to the end of the year were 15-10. But in 2005, I posted that, and 3 big breeders hit me up and said, why would you want to help people save their shit? And I'm like, bro, this has legs. It's going to go somewhere. This isn't the last clients. If this was the last clients, I would be the dumbass for buying this stuff from you. I would be the fucking dunce. I would be the one with the hat on in the corner acting like a fucking idiot. Were
you part of? Did you know anybody in the circles that were getting supposed males that had that people were damaging the hemipenes on purpose?
I never got one, but bro, do you know that super gravel I told you I paid? I got that super gravel for 25 grand, and I got a highway for 15 grand, but it wasn't actually cash. Bill Brandt and I did a trade on that for bananas. And do you know, Bill Brandt told me I sold him a spider in 2004. In 2012, 13, when bananas were still like fucking money, right? They were still like 20 grand or whatever. I offered to trade him 3 male bananas for that pair, for that highway and super gravel female. And he told me, I don't want to ship them. I want to drive them there. And I'm like, you ship snakes all over to every Petco in North America. What the fuck, dude? Come on. Tell me what's up. I would love to have Bill Brandt at my facility. It would be like a fucking god coming into my life. I got to tell you, it would mean the world to me if you came. But why? And he was like, I got to come inspect the penises on these snakes first. And I'm like, really? And he said, yeah, there are people in the hobby now that are sending me animals that they're using clippers or something, and they're actually snipping the hemipenes off. And I'm like, what? I cannot believe someone would do that. And I was like, you do remember I sold you a spider in 2004, and I got ostracized from the ball python community for that. You sold Bill Brandt a spider? Kevin was pissed. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? He bought one. He's going to supply Petco with them when they're $50. He's never going to sell one until he has 1,000 of them. I think Kevin back in the day thought spider balls would be fucking 20 grand for 20 years. I think all of them thought they would be 20 grand for 20 years. And I think a lot of people said that's why Pete and those guys never came back, because when they just got down for a season or two, they woke up and was like, oh, fuck. We can't sell a pied for more than $450. We can't pay our mortgage for $450.
Because that model of mass producing those genes now and just not improving on them and not looking into the future, man.
I mean, you can't blame somebody for spending 50 grand on an animal and not wanting their return fast. Like nowadays, I can buy a bunch of like new recessive stuff and then breeding something to make some triple and quad heads and hope for the fucking stars 2 years from now. But back then, when you spend that real big money, $50,000, $60,000 on an incomplete dominant animal, before everybody else gets a hold of it, you want to get your money back. So it's completely understandable, but it wasn't a long-term sustainable thing as far as people wanted it to be. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of times the reptile guys had a completely different mindset. And I think a lot of you guys do now too. And Antoine touched on it earlier when he said, by time you get where you're going, that wind might change and the sales might blow a completely different fucking direction. So, dude, I don't know, man. We've lived through a time, me and you. And I'm glad you asked me the question that you just asked me, that I gave you that incredibly long answer to. And I hope I answered it satisfactorily, if I can say that, because honestly, time will show, right? And I've had a couple people even this week message me and tell me that they are very impressed with how this podcast has gone so far in the last couple months. And honestly, bro, I'm very impressed with how this podcast has gone so far in the last couple months. You know?
I hope that there's some you got some new viewers that was on this episode. You know what I mean? It came on. But it seems kind of nasty to say, "Oh, they came on because of me."
No, they came on because of you, motherfucker. They're still here. They're not like 22 of them right now. There's 40 of them right now. Fuck. There was 41. One of them just bounced out just because he didn't want to be part of that group. You know,
and decided to give you a shot and see what you were about and shit like that too.
Because I've had a couple of people that are new since I've left that have had a really ill opinion of me based on bullshit that they do not understand. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's been awesome, brother, man. And
yeah, I'm gonna let you roll out.
We almost 2 hours and fucking 20 minutes.
Yeah, dude, we got it. We're good. We don't even need to do a post show. Me and you did a hell of a show. Would you please consider? Well, he doesn't have Sunset Puzzles yet. He's working on it, Nixon. He's working on it. He's making it happen. He's trying. He's working on it.
That's my guy, man. Shout out to Brandon. He's got some dope Sunset stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, well, Brandon Nixon's been around for a minute. He ought to have a hell of a lot going on for himself. He's been around for a while. So, look, hey, do me a favor. I mean, I know you've collabed on a couple other podcasts, and I'm not trying to steal your beautiful body away from these other dudes or whatever, but I'll tell you this. I would love to have you on for an after dark Friday night bullshit session because I think this was great. I had a wonderful time. You made my fucking face hurt more than once, and that just doesn't happen enough. Okay. So, man, look, for the lamest motherfucker of what, 2020 or 2021? What was it?
2021.
The lamest motherfucker of 2021 just held up a 2 hour and 20-minute bullshit with another 10 minutes on the pre-show. Honestly, Dale said, I'm really liking it. I've watched all the new ones and the old ones. And honestly, I did not think video was going to be great until this StreamYard shit happened and I could just hit record. And when it's done, I'm done. I don't have to edit fuck all. And you know, that's another thing that's kind of nice. It's keeping me in line a little bit. Antoine, it is. You know, I think Chris's funny thing that Chris said was, I see parts of the old Sean creeping back in. And I'm like, honestly, dude, if I wasn't part of the old Sean, you'd think I was a total fucking asshole con artist, motherfucking liar. I mean, really, be honest, right? I mean, I don't know if you're glad I'm back or not. Now that we did our show, now that we're done and Antoine has done a bullshit, he'll probably be like, yeah, fuck that guy. I don't care what happens. Yeah, fuck Sean. Don't even worry about his channel. No. I don't.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my podcast Infinity Stones I had to get on, bro. So
thank you for coming on,
man.
I
had to do it, man. And I
thank
appreciate
you for
having
doing
me and inviting me too, man. So it was a dope time. I hope people were entertained and shit too. And fucking
if they weren't, fuck them. We don't need their subscriptions.
I promised all my Patreon members that I will fuck with you just a little bit. You know what I mean? I might hit a couple little jabs.
I didn't even feel a jab, dude. I didn't even feel a jab. Honestly, I felt a respectful question that needed an answer. And thank you.
So, man, so for the newer people here, high desert pythons everywhere, man.
Yes, indeed. Hold up. If they don't know who this fucking dude is, I got him over here on Morph Market, high desert pythons. He'll respond to you in 2 minutes unless he's on a podcast like this. You know, he did not tell me once to shut the fuck up while he responded to a Morph Market ad. And then all the time on Instagram with his hilarious fucking reels. This dude is amazing. Antoine Hood. Go to Instagram.com/high desert pythons, morphmarket.com/stores/high desert pythons.
Dude, are those porn tabs up there? What is that? Oh,
no, these are no. You know what though? Wait. For a paraplegic that can no longer jerk it like I used to, these are porn tabs to me because these are just my sponsors. These are my sponsors that pay me every month, bro. I learned this from crypto. Why have this show with all of this contrived shit when we can literally click on a sponsor's page and that we get to pressure them into being better at their job, right? Because Antoine, when these motherfuckers don't post, I'm like, you are a lazy fuck. You need to post on your shit. You are not doing a good job. Dude, did you watch the Bob Vu episode? Oh, wait, I'm gonna give you you can't hang up yet. Did you watch it? Did you go hurry up and answer all your shit? Where's your ratings? Where's your ratings? You don't have it on there? What is it not listed on there? It doesn't list it on there, does it? Weird. Did they
Oh,
take
what?
it off because I said something? The amount of your ratings that you give back to your buyers. Like when you there you go. There it is. No ratings in the last, right? The number it normally gives you the number that you rated your rating people back. When you get a rating from somebody, do you go back and give them a review?
I respond back to the review, but yeah.
But
So
you don't go give them a feedback review as a customer.
I thought I did. Maybe I didn't.
I think you probably do. I think you probably do because it says 100% over the last 12 months. Hold on, wait. Let's put Vu on the spot. Oh, he's not here. He's not here. Shh. He won't be coming back. He had enough bullshit last Friday. Where are you, Bob? Bob. I gave him shit because he was all about Morph Market. He was all about his Morph. There it is. Look, reciprocated ratings 0% over the last 90 days. I'm like, I gave him a big strikeout for that. But Bob's a great guy. But I mean, I just thought it was cool to point that out because you wouldn't believe who I click on for stores that I think would be doing this that aren't doing this, bro.
I'll admit it, dude. I don't use all the benefits of Morph Market like I
neither
should.
do I, but I do use that function.
That's something I need to get on too, because like I don't even get on the forums because I'm like forums are so fucking like, ugh. Like
I don't get on them either.
Like,
however, let me give you something really quick because you've been around. This is something important. These little genes that you're familiar with, that you're really familiar with, please go to the Morphpedia section of Morph Market and give your own opinions of them in the Morphpedia tabs. Because I've found I've went and done it on 2 corn snakes and ball pythons now, where I've had to correct the history of the thing. So that's it. You're starting to fade out, but we're gonna let you go. Your phone's probably getting ready to die. Thanks a lot, bro. I appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate everybody watching, man. Hey, thanks a lot, Sean, man.
Absolutely. We will be in touch, my man. Hey, thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Have a good weekend, bro.
Absolutely. Thanks for a badass birthday week, bro. It was great. Great interview.
Happy birthday, bro. All right,
thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Well, everybody, look, that was incredible. I had a great fun with that dude. I've been waiting to talk to that dude on my own show for a while. I'm glad that he said what he said. I do hope that I have some of you back here that are normally snakes and doggies, said the old Sean. Yes. No. Maybe a little bit of the old Sean, but it is what it is, right? So thanks a lot for all you guys being here. Thank God it's fucking Friday. Good night, everybody. Have a great weekend from Elite. LD Exotics, thanks for coming in. I'm sorry I didn't greet you at any time. Primitive said, love this episode 100. Bro, that motherfucker had me laughing. And it's not very often that I get to laugh that fucking hard anymore in this business. So thank you, Antoine, for being so fucking awesome. And thank you guys for being a great audience. This Tuesday, we have a spicy motherfucker in the house. We have Graham Battison from Northwest Constrictors UK, and Graham is a beast. I don't know. I mean, after this week, this was fun. Next week, it's gonna get a little. I mean, Tuesday's gonna get a little salty. It's gonna get a little salty with a guy from the UK, so it's gonna be a little salty with a little accent. Yeah, a little bit of me. I won't even be the saltiest. He'll be the saltiest, or maybe not. Check us out with Graham. I don't know about Friday. Savages just put me on the spot and asked me about fucking Friday. I have no idea who's Friday. I can tell you, I don't know if I'm going to do a Friday because I've got a reptile show that I have to drive 2 hours away for. I had thought about doing Gavin. Yeah, Jason brought up Gavin. I haven't even asked him yet, though, so I don't want to put him on the spot. Balls to you. I really missed seeing and meeting Gavin in person, even though I really feel uncomfortable with how big the man's upper body is. It's a lot like Graham Battison on Tuesday's lower body. So maybe if this week was hands week, next week can be body week. I mean, fuck, if I'm going to generalize that much, I'd say that the legs on fucking Graham Battison are about the size of an elephant, and the upper body on that Gavin dude's just looks like Arnold on like all kind of HGH. But I love Gavin. and he and I did some shit when he first started back in the day. So you can listen to a Balls to You interview with me already from some of his earlier days of podcasting. If you just go check out on Spotify, iTunes, any of those wonderful spots, you go check out. Look at that. Taylor Swift Midnights just came up on my Spotify. I'm not really much of a Swifty, guys. You don't really have to worry about all that. But if we go look up the Bullshit Podcast on Instagram, remember, if you go and search for BALLSHT, I'll maximize this out right here. We'll go to Bullshit. Episode 3 popped up with Marshall. But anyway, yeah, just go check out on your favorite podcast platform. I don't have all of the current ones up. We had an issue with the host, and I had to upload a binge-worthy amount of podcasts. And they were binge-worthy indeed. This was two weekends ago. I uploaded 17 hours of podcasts in one day. And as soon as the server resets itself, I'm going to upload the rest. And honestly, this production's costing a lot of money. They charge by the gigabyte of how much we upload, and the maximum account is 3 gigs. And we uploaded 1.5 gigs in one day a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, it's getting expensive, but I'm going to catch back up. Everything's going to be straight. Really, they should have gratis to me the uploads, but they disagreed, and I love my host. I love Libsyn. So check out any of the audio versions anywhere around. I'll sign out now. Thank you guys very much. This was a lot of fun. Take it easy. Good night. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, no, I got to fix this fucking thing one day. It's too much time in my week spent on animals, now making cool shit and bringing you these shows. Keep in mind, I've released almost half as many in 2 months, 2.5 months, as I released in the entire fucking 3, almost 4 year stretch. So thanks, dude. You guys are awesome. You guys are keeping me here. Oh, wait, one more thing before I sign out. I want to thank the Patreon members, even though there's only fucking 4 of them. Chris Dinkins, Sam Haggard, Rich Crowell, and McGrail Morphs. McGrail Morphs is definitely worthy of a lot of mention for being a great new addition to the Patreon page. I do not offer you really much on the Patreon page, but if you're interested, go check it out. Patreon.com/bullshit without the I. And soon we'll have t-shirts, and we'll be good to go. So I'll be surprising you with next Friday. Either I have a show or I don't have a show. I'm not really sure, but I definitely will be here in some capacity. All right. Take it easy, guys, and good night.